This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbroadcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates.
This episode is brought to you by Casper Mattresses and HelloFresh.
That's two great things that work well together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Red hot comic book movie news, shooting up your butthole. The Weekly Planet, the Weekly Planet.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Weekly Planet, where we talk movies and comics and TV shows. My name is James, also known as Mr. Sunday. With me, as always, is my co-host, Nick Mason.
You've got a song in your voice this week,
I gave you a
James.
week off me having some kind of physical or mental breakdown.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Is that because we didn't have to go out and watch a movie at the cinema?
That's
I feel
very
maybe
possible.
that's
Yeah.
entirely possible. I feel like that can crumble your entire week. Regardless whether it's go to just a regular cinema or go to like some sort of media screening.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is. You'll be like,
Because a lot of the time, not a lot of the time, some of the time, a lot of the time,
Yes.
it's a movie that I wouldn't bother to see unless
Right.
it came out. Like a Fast and Furious. Like I liked that one, whatever that one was last week. I liked it enough. It was good.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have gone to see that if this wasn't a requirement of me. You know,
Really?
would you have gone to see that?
yes, because I love all pop culture things.
Wow. Well,
That's right.
One of us is certainly more savvy than the other, or doesn't have a child, Mason. You wouldn't even know what
Oh,
it's like.
God.
Anyway, The Hunt. Did you see the trailer for that?
No, but
What-
I saw one still image
Yeah.
of what's her name? She's from Glow.
Glow, yeah, her.
Betty Gilpin.
Oh, okay, very good. It's rich people be hunting poor people or whatever, you know what I
Right,
mean?
okay.
But,
But isn't the twist that they are rich left wing people or something?
I have
Isn't it?
no
I
idea.
think that might be. I think the twist is that they are because you look. That's not a twist unless you make the assumption that it's always like stuffy conservative people who are also hunting the poor
Yeah, right.
or whatever.
Like
But
The
I
Purge and whatever,
Right,
yeah.
but I think the premise of this is they're rich liberals hunting poor right wing people. I think
what a twist.
that is a twist.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's not coming out anymore.
PC gone mad. No, it's not. Universal Pictures have paused the marketing campaign after thoughtful consideration. The studio has decided to cancel our plans to release the film. This is their statement, etc. and so forth. Understand that it's not the right time to release this film. This is obviously off the back of and I think there's something like 250 deaths as a result of shootings in the US just this year alone, which is quite a lot. The thing about this is I was probably not going to see this, and I do not care about this movie. Will I ever see it? Will it ever come out? I do not know.
It seems like it exists in a similar vein to movies like The Purge,
Yes.
of which I'm like, well, I could probably see one of those if it's on streaming,
Yeah.
but I'll never actually get to it.
Yeah, some of them are fine, I think, from the ones I've seen. And maybe there's a TV show that's out at the moment. It's a prequel. Or is there? It's neither here nor there. This is clearly, like, the idea of the shootings, and it's been very high profile in the media that certain organisations and politicians have been blaming the violent culture of video games and movies.
Well, they got them all out of Walmart. They got all the video
that's
games
right.
out of Walmart, so
Which
that's
is
going to solve the
absolute
problem.
horseshit, obviously. And I know there's a lot of people who listen who, you know, gun rights and et cetera and so forth. Good on you. Fill your bloody boots, mate. But obviously there's something needs to be changed, but I don't think it's not
censoring movies, and it's not getting rid of video games out of a department store.
Yeah, that's it. And look, you know, no society is perfect, obviously, but there are countries like Australia. You can still get a gun here; they're not banned. I think a lot of people don't realize that. Like, I have friends who have guns; it's not uncommon, but there are limitations on certain weapons. Yeah.
There's common sense limitations.
Yes.
You can't get a 100-round drum magazine and just shoot it in your backyard.
No, unless you want to do it illegally.
Oh yeah, you can probably do that.
Yeah,
legally.
but anyway, so that's where we're at. I don't know. I think anybody can agree, whatever side of this debate that you fall on, it's not video games and movies, right?
Correct. Yes,
I think obviously people with certain mental conditions, which I think is also a factor in these, obviously in these situations, you can be influenced by these things. But I think that's a small subset of people, and it's also a small factor in a larger combination of factors.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Right.
but
right,
anyway,
right.
what do we know about anything, Mason?
I was going to say we are veering dangerously close. I was going to say to things we don't know anything about. We don't know anything about anything. We're veering way out into the void of things we know nothing about.
I don't know,
so-
just for me, and it's maybe because I've been a teacher, the idea that somebody can take a gun and run into a school and kill 20 kids is just fucking incomprehensible to me.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, this is the point where I'm like, we should have a politics podcast where we just rail about politics, and I'm like, oh, nobody wants to hear that.
No. People hate it when we get political, Mason.
That's true.
But some people don't mind it either.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah, Australia, you can just take your kids to school.
Yeah, that's
you just
it.
go to work.
Also, I know there's still a culture of violence. People say, well, what about stabbings and whatever? And yes, there is. There's still violence in Australia. But again, to me, it comes down to you can't shoot 20 kids in a matter of seconds.
That's true.
Yeah, it's much harder to stab 20 kids is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you get close enough to them and they like, because the thing about teens is they'll find your biggest vulnerability and they'll just say it at you. And before you can stab him, you're like, oh, no. Oh, I am concerned of losing my hair. Oh.
Here's some other news, though. Netflix has confirmed...
To be clear, I'm not concerned about losing my hair. It's always looked like this.
Well, Mason, that sounds like you're concerned. It sounds like you have great hair.
Thank you.
Yeah. Netflix has confirmed that the Emmy Award-winning duo of David Benioff and D.B. Weiss,
Oh, the big boys,
the
DNA.
GOT Bros,
The original GOT
the
bros.
original, yeah, they've signed an overall deal to develop new films and shows for the streaming service Netflix.
I've heard of Netflix.
Yeah,
Is it a 9-figure deal? Something like
200 million.
that. There we
apparently,
go. That's what I
yeah.
heard. Yeah, okay.
What does this mean for Star Wars? What does this mean for other things they're working
Does
on?
this mean we're going to get a half-finished Star Wars movie
Or
in
trilogy or
theaters?
whatever, yeah.
They're going to be like, oh, yeah, we did a movie and a half.
Yeah.
And we're going to move to Netflix, so
Yeah.
see you later, idiots.
Okay, so this guy, we were gonna make him evil in the end, but we're just gonna do it here.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah.
you could feel there's foreshadowing or whatever. You could fill in the
Get
blanks,
it,
right?
yeah. Uh-huh. Well, what this means is there's now...
It's the destination and not the journey. Is what we're saying.
Absolutely. This means that there's now $200 million worth of potential movie and TV projects that are not going to get funded by Netflix, so
Yeah.
that these guys can do their thing.
Yeah,
So that's great, isn't it?
yeah, it certainly is.
Yeah.
I think people are kind of forgetting that these guys are obviously not without talent because most of Game of Thrones
Yes.
is quite good.
They're very talented at adapting somebody else's work.
Yes, and obviously it got to the point where they went off book, and then that became a problem. I think it more became a problem in probably the last season than seasons before.
Well, I don't think even off book was the problem. I think it was that I'm sure they were given the broad strokes of where is this series going to go, and
Yeah.
they went, okay, well we'll do that, but we'll pack it into one season, 6 episodes, 8 episodes. What was it? 6 episodes, 8
Yeah.
episodes, 6 or 8 episodes,
6 to 8 episodes.
6 to 8 episodes.
They were long. They were like some. They were
Yeah.
6, but it was like somewhere like an hour and a half.
And
or
it's
whatever.
sort of again something that didn't occur to me at the time when we watched the last season is they could have just given the series to another producer.
Yes.
They could have just been like, well, we have to go and do Star Wars, but we trust
Yeah.
X producer or like our subordinate who we're now going to make
Yeah.
the new producer or whatever. But they were like,
We're
no,
bringing in another GOT bro or
Exact-
sis into the fold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about family, you know?
I know it's my
Yeah.
family.
Mm.
Yeah, but
That's-
like,
yeah, exactly.
But they could have but they were like, no, we want our legacy to, we want to be the sole owners of this series.
Yeah.
and then we want to have our cake and eat it too. We want to jump straight to Star Wars.
Yeah,
Good on
absolutely.
'em. Now,
Yeah.
good on them.
But it does make me wonder. I mean, obviously you can have multiple things in development, but giving like somebody $200 million or whatever to develop a series of things for Netflix, including films and TV shows, where does that leave this Star Wars trilogy that they were doing? I don't know what's happening with Star Wars. D23's coming up.
Oh, does that mean there's no Star Wars news?
No, there will be Star Wars
Oh,
news.
go
At the
on.
very least, Star Wars Episode 9 news. But then after that...
No, I mean this week.
Oh, no, there's not this week, actually. Oh, hang on. No, I think you're right. But there's going to be very soon. And we are still talking about
Well, I'm
it,
going to
aren't we?
savor this. I'm going to savor this like a delightful HelloFresh meal.
But,
Simmering under a medium heat. No Star Wars news.
yeah, I'm curious, though, how this affects Star Wars. And
Yeah.
because they've talked about these guys are doing a trilogy, but I wonder off Game of Thrones, maybe they're not doing a trilogy. What's the Rian Johnson trilogy?
Yeah, right.
Who knows what any trilogies are? Trilogies, you know?
I know, absolutely. I know about trilogies.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, what would cause them to do they have the power in Hollywood to be like, okay, we've got to do some Netflix stuff, so we're going to postpone Star Wars?
Yeah.
Do they have that power, or does no one on Earth have that power? I wonder.
It's a good question.
Surely not.
Yeah.
Surely nobody can be like, we're gonna move Star Wars 2 years into the future.
Yeah, no,
They would
you're right,
People
yeah.
would find out where they lived and kill them.
I know it was the opposite for J.J. Abrams because when he went back to Star Wars, he had a deal with Paramount where he was developing or directing 9 pictures or something like that.
Right, okay.
And he ended up, they either bought him out or they let him out in good faith or something so he could go do Star Wars. Because he's not going to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right, uh-huh.
So I don't know whether he's going to circle back around to that at the end, but essentially he broke his contract to go back and do another Star Wars, yeah. But what are you going to say to him? Because he's J.J. Abrams, you know
That's
what I mean?
true,
He
yeah.
can kind of make his own call. So, except for the time when he wrote a Superman movie and they were going to give it to McGee instead of him. Anyway, that's Star Wars news for this
Yeah.
week, Mason.
What's J.J. Abrams like? I know he's been behind a lot of popular movies.
Yeah.
But what's the draw card of a J.J. Abrams? You know what I mean?
I think
Like, what brings people into cinemas?
I think the idea behind his work is I think he gets a lot of flack, and we've talked about this because he replicates a style as opposed to like a Spielberg-esque whatever.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like he can kind of get down to the core of what makes something what it is without deviating too far from it.
Not that I'm saying I don't like his
No,
work.
I know
Like,
what you're
like
saying.
Mission Impossible
Yeah.
3 and
I
etc.
mean, mystery, obviously.
Yeah, mystery boxes, sure.
The modern version of Mission Impossible that we're getting is really that's a result of J.J. Abrams. That's what he did in 3.
He's meddling.
No, he fixed that. It was crap, and he fixed it. You saw 2.
That's what too. Yes.
It's the best hair, but
Yeah.
that's all.
We never stopped talking about 2. We was talking
We
about
talked about it before the
We
show.
talked about Mission Impossible 2 before the show started. There's some things we'll never get away from. It's Mission Impossible 2, Batman v Superman.
Yep,
And
That's
our
those two
wonderful
things.
sponsors, Casper
Yeah, of
Mattresses
course.
and HelloFresh.
exactly. You are not wrong.
I guess he's also like a workhorse director.
But
Like,
also, if you look at his films, though, they're mostly good.
that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Star Trek.
Yeah, I mean,
Revitalized that. I never saw
exactly.
that coming.
Like a lot of the big budget films, they're not very good, are they? Or
That's true.
or middling. Most
Yeah,
of them are
that's
like
true.
middling. I
Yeah,
would say.
that's true, yeah.
You know, and most of his are
Yeah.
pretty beyond solid.
Here's a follow-up question then.
Sure.
Why did I initially thought I hate him so much?
Because there is that kind of like here's a nostalgia, or whatever, and I guess it's lost.
It is lost, yeah.
He's never, I guess, finished something. Like he asked a lot of questions and then kind of
Yeah.
goes, "Good luck, everybody,"
true, yeah.
and then
Yeah.
other people kind of have to deal with.
I even liked Alias. Remember Alias?
I know you liked Taylor. How did that wrap up well?
I can't remember.
Jennifer
I think-
Garnier.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I think it descended into...
Did you ever do a Garnier product? You must have.
Maybe.
I'll look that up while you're saying what you're saying.
Okay. It started out as a spy show and then it descended into, again, mystery box madness. There was sort of a mysterious Leonardo da Vinci inventor,
Yeah.
like in the distant past, who created all these incredible inventions, and like the goal of the villain was to collect all these inventions.
Yes.
And I can't remember how it wound up.
Wait, there was a Leonardo DiCaprio thing. Not Leonardo DiCaprio. Sorry, I was looking up Jennifer Garnier.
You're looking up Jennifer Garnier, of course you were.
Yeah, she was associated with the brand in 2007.
Was she really?
Why am I doing this?
I don't
The
know.
thing that you said, though, so they find a dossier of
It's like when somebody's like, oh, here we go, I've just thought of Ryan Gosling. Now let's see if I'm the first person on the internet to come up, 150,000 results. Okay, right, all right.
So there was a Da Vinci element too.
Yeah.
I didn't know
the
that.
character's name, it was Rimbaldi, was kind of this Renaissance era inventor, and he came up with all these amazing technological innovations, and the villain, who was Jennifer Garnier's boss, was trying to collect
Did you mean
all
to
these
say
things.
Garnier
Yes, I
then?
did.
Okay,
yes,
good.
yeah. Or maybe I didn't.
But I might have inceptioned you.
Oh no.
was trying to get all these inventions.
And I can't remember what
I'd
the
imagine
ultimate-
it'd be mostly catapults, though,
It
wouldn't
was
it?
catapult and immortality. It was an
okay.
immortality catapult. What you do is you put yourself in a catapult and you'd slice the string, and if you survived going over the
Yeah.
rampant wall, you became immortal.
Really?
Yeah.
And obviously you'd scream, "I'm gonna live forever!"
Exactly, that's true. Yeah.
Right. Sounds like a really good
But
show.
if you didn't say it with conviction, splat.
Splat. I get you.
Yeah.
What else we got here? More news, obviously.
Oh yeah, I love news.
Sony Spider-Man live-action series. You know Sony. You know
Yes.
Spider-Man. Apparently they're developing...
Side note, I love it when you go to Netflix and you search for something and they've just got a placeholder of like something that's coming up, but it hasn't been... Like, they haven't given it a proper name.
Oh, right,
or
yes.
anything. It's like, Fast and the Furious Animated Racer Show. And you're like, all right, let's
I love
put
it.
that on the list.
I love
Here we go.
I love it when you go to search for something and it gives you the exact name of the thing that you're after.
Yeah.
But then it just gives you... Did you mean the
No.
other things that we have instead of that?
Absolutely not.
No, I
Why
was
would
looking
I?
for Pulp Fiction. I wanted Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
All right? Pulp Fiction's on Stan.
It's on stand,
Yeah,
yeah.
figure that out. Didn't pay for either of them, Mason.
But Reservoir
Well, they
Dogs is
did-
on Netflix.
That's right, yeah. Anyway,
Don't make it bloody easy, do they?
that's right. Chris Miller, who worked on the Spider-Verse thing, he says, we're developing a handful of live-action shows using Marvel's Sony characters of the likes of which there are like 900. We're figuring out a way to develop the show so each of them has their own unique experience, but are also related. Live action is a different universe, Mason.
Oh.
And for television, often can be not good.
Correct, yes.
Especially Spider-Man stuff.
I disagree. Name a single episode of the 1970 Spider-Man series that wasn't good.
The one we watched, the only one that we watched,
Yeah,
Night
that
of
was-
the Clones.
yeah, that was bad.
Apparently that guy's in Once Upon a Time in
I heard that,
Hollywood,
yeah.
and he's very good. Which we're saying next week.
Yes.
Come along, everybody, if you want.
We'll tell you what screening we're going to. Join us.
Yes, I'm not doing the screening.
I'm
It's
not.
tomorrow night, I think, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, it is. Do you want to go?
I might be at work.
Okay.
Okay then.
Then I'll go.
Good. Take one for the team.
Yeah, apparently they want to do something that's not like anything else that's been done on television. So there you go.
Oh.
Where is this going? Are Sony bringing out a streaming service or whatever? Who knows? I don't know. Probably not, I guess. Who knows? Maybe it's going to Disney or Hulu.
There's
and all those ones.
I don't know.
Disney own.
I look. If I were the owner of a multi-billion-dollar entertainment conglomerate,
Well, you will be one day because your dad is Bob Iger.
thank you. And he's got to die some way. Fingers crossed.
He looks pretty healthy though. Healthier than you.
God damn it, Dad. I would probably wait and see which of these streaming services survives the cull
Yes.
in the next few years before I was like, yeah, let's do our own.
Yeah.
Why not? What's the worst that could happen?
Well,
Committing
fold-
billions of
yeah,
dollars.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Did you see the list this week about the most money that which platforms spend on whatevs?
No.
Netflix is something like the average was.
Was it a BuzzFeed?
It was like what they spend on shows.
Okay, right.
What money is the most things be spent on?
Spent
that?
on whatevs?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Kendall Jenner. You throw that in the title
Oh,
or
yeah,
whatever.
nice,
You
yeah,
get your clicks. But Netflix was somewhere in the middle, like 10 million per show.
Okay.
But Disney Plus was like 24 million. So
Ooh.
Disney Plus is by far the most expensive. So people think.
Okay.
And you can see that in some of the Netflix shows. It's like, this is mostly one corridor, isn't it? Daredevil.
That's true, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm, yeah.
We only see his Daredevil vision like once in his World of Fire.
Yeah, I
remember?
remember the World of Fire, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Anyway. Spider-Man
Okay,
stuff.
right. Well, that sounds like they're trying to price everybody else out of the market. They're like, okay,
Mm.
if we do a run of shows where everything costs $50 million, we're gonna nail this.
I think they bundled like ESPN and Hulu and Disney Plus together for like $14 or something like that.
That's pretty good.
And Disney itself was only like 6 or 7.
Huh.
So it's, they're clearly like aiming for that. Look what you get for a low price. When
Yeah.
Netflix is like 13 or 14 or whatever it is, depending where you are in the world. Anyway, Mason, Star
Yes.
Wars news.
Oh,
Just
you-
kidding. You really?
That would have been good stuff, though.
I know, right?
Especially if there is Star Wars news now.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, you see, I can't see what you're doing on your laptop over there. So if I were you, I would have been the last couple of minutes just like
Furiously searching for
looking for
anything.
anything new Star Wars related.
Yeah, you're right. I should be doing that.
Adam Driver's got a new haircut, and I would have been like, ah!
He'll never get a new haircut. His haircut's perfect. Why would he change it?
Absolutely.
It's ridiculous.
He's even wider than before. He's so wide.
You say, white. I said whiter.
Well, both. He could be both.
It could definitely be both. What do we got here, Mason? So, The Joker, that film that's coming out.
Oh, yes.
They reckon it's going to have an opening of 60 to 90 million. Tracking on a film is absolute shit show. So this doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
bear
for
in
sure.
mind, okay?
Mhm,
yeah. Dan Mel does a good thing on Screen Junkies where he talks about, it's not now Phantom Entertainment, they've changed. He does a weekly box office wrap up and he talks about this always. When they talk about how a movie underperforms, often it's just in relation to what was predicted, but the statistics and how they predict things is just wildly inaccurate.
Right, okay.
So
So
often
if
when
they're
it's like it's underperformed, it's like, yeah, but did it? Because what was it ever going to do
Exactly.
initially? Yeah.
It's underperformed relative to this more or less randomly assigned figure we've given to it.
Yeah, exactly.
So if it's like we thought this was going to make $450 million and it only made $400 million, well, where'd the $450 million figure come from?
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
out of our asses, basically.
Out of our bloody asses, mate. Not bloody. You know what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
yeah, I don't get it.
So, but let's say it does make those numbers.
Yeah.
Like, it will beat Shazam and Aquaman, which made Shazam made 53 opening weekend. Aquaman made 67. Also, Joker's only got a $55 million budget because it was mostly grease paint. That's where it all
For
went
sure, yeah.
towards, you know
Grease,
what I mean?
grease paint and underpants.
Yeah, that's right. Big briefs.
Yeah, big briefs.
But they probably second-handed those briefs. I bet they saved $1 or $2 there, didn't they?
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
Who's got a pair of dirty briefs? Any of the crew? We just need a pair of dirty, loose briefs.
It's all right, Joaquin's just going to dance around in them for a bit and then we'll give them back. So don't worry about it.
So it's going to be out October 4th. Mm-hmm. See the Joker in his
Do
dirty
you think it's
briefs.
going to do well?
Yeah, I do.
Huh.
At least initially. Apparently it's
Yeah.
amazing.
All right.
We actually did a movie, a Caravan of Garbage movie, which we're going to save for a little bit. We won't spoil it here, Mason, but let's just say...
I already spoiled it on Instagram.
Okay, you did too. Let's just say it's Return of the Joker, the Batman Beyond
Okay.
animated series. But let's just leave it at that.
Okay, let's leave it at that. Let's give no more
yeah.
clues.
Yeah, well, I maybe want to do Batman 89 or Phantasm before then as well.
Refresh
yeah.
my memory. Did Shazam do well?
Not overly.
Yeah, right.
It did okay, but I think off the back of all the other DC movies not doing...
Yeah,
like, they
right.
kind of steadily... Like, that peaked at Wonder Woman.
Yep.
And then it just kind of...
Yeah.
No, Aquaman did very well. What am I talking about?
All right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But I guess maybe
Okay.
the buzz behind Shazam wasn't as... Also, people were like, who's
Yeah.
this?
Look, I feel, and I'm always wrong about this sort of stuff, but I feel like who's clamoring for this mishmash Scorsese crime film.
I think it's-
Todd Phillips Joker
I think a lot of people-
situation. Okay.
If you look at
The
like
general public?
yeah,
though?
I think if you look at, and I think it's also R-rated, which I think
Ooh.
is, which means these,
Tantalizing.
if these numbers be true,
Yes.
then that's incredible for
Oh,
an
that's a
R-rated
lot of
film.
that's a lot
yeah.
for an R-rated film. Okay, right.
Yeah, and if it can beat like Shazam or Aquaman, I mean Aquaman stayed longer because it made $1 billion in the
Yeah,
end.
right, uh-huh.
But yeah, I don't know.
Look, I'll stake my non-existent reputation on this not doing well initially.
Okay.
I think maybe a little build.
Yep.
I think if it's good, I think maybe word will get around that it's good and people will come to it. But I don't see comic book. I don't see fans of Scorsese or fans of crime dramas
Or fans of Todd Phillips.
exactly going like, yeah, the Joker. I'm on board with that.
I think the
Okay.
opposite,
All
if
right.
anything. I think it's
Okay.
going to do really well initially.
All right.
And if it's good, it will stay good.
Okay.
Also, it's October, so it's got a bit of a clear window, I assume.
Oh yeah.
This is
okay.
another fucking...
No Halloween sequel on the way.
No, or a Men in Black movie. There might be
Uh-huh.
another one of them this year. Who
Yeah, right.
knows?
Mhm.
News on the Crisis on Infinite Earth crossover, Mason.
Oh yes, on the CW.
Kevin Conroy has been added to the cast, who of course is the voice of Bruce Wayne / Batman in Batman the Animated Series and everything up to the Arkham games. Not everything. Sometimes it's a different guy and I'm like, what? No. Some of them are good.
That's true.
But he's probably the best. Still, anyway, he's going to be live action Bruce Wayne.
I know we talked about it last week.
Did we?
Yep. There was a set photo.
Did we really talk about this
Yeah, we
last
did.
week?
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's still doing it.
Okay.
It's hot off the
Oh, you
presses.
know what? We talked about it when we did Batman Beyond. When we did.
Oh,
the Joker.
okay. I was
That's what
gonna
we
say,
talked
did we talk about
yeah,
it
right,
last
yeah,
week?
Yeah, but yeah, there's a stock
Did you
photo.
just give away that we did Batman Beyond, Mason?
No, you literally said it minutes
What
ago.
are you doing?
No, I'll do anything. I'm a real something agent of chaos, something the Joker.
Absolutely.
That's a little buzz for the Joker there. That's a little free promo for the Joker.
Oh, he's got big wide briefs that he's dancing about. So, yeah, okay. So we haven't talked about
We
it.
haven't
then.
talked about it. Okay, right. But
Like
we're talking
chronologically,
about it now.
we
We have talked about it.
Yeah, okay.
In our real lives, we have in fact
Yeah.
talked about it. But yes, looks, yeah, he's got Ace the Bat Hound with him.
great.
It's not quite how. I mean, that's the thing. Like Kevin Conroy does look like a comic book character.
Yeah.
But not necessarily a Batman.
I think
but,
if you put him in a big enough like suit,
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, for sure.
You kind of
Uh-huh.
Ben Affleck the hair.
And he's going to do the voice.
Yeah, exactly. And he's
So-
going to do the voice, and presumably he's like a little bit older and
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And
that photo also has. You can see in that one production photo we've seen, there is a glass case with a Batman Beyond suit in it.
terrifico and fantastic. I mean, Terry McGinnis.
Maybe we don't know yet. I mean, you know, again, because this is a parallel dimension from a parallel
Yeah.
dimension. It could be a universe in which Terry McGinnis was the future Batman and
Yeah.
he died or something, and that's
Yeah.
why the suit is in the case. But
Or
we
it
don't
could be
know.
pre Terry McGinnis because
Could be
Batman
pre-
did wear
yeah,
that.
that's true,
before.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Oh, that's good.
that is good.
Do you reckon they're going to get Mark Hamill?
Ooh, good question. As the Joker,
Yes.
or as the
Well, he could do the trickster
could be
again.
the
or whatever,
trickster?
yeah.
Exactly, that's true.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he
Maybe
did.
I would say, yeah. He seems like a good sport who would probably do something like that.
Yeah.
But also, I imagine, you know, because he's doing Star Wars.
Yeah.
What kind of red tape does
Yeah.
that involve?
But if he's in it for like a minute, like it'd
Yeah.
probably be easier to get him for it
That's
or whatever.
true, yeah.
He could just be in an asylum or whatever.
Yeah.
And be like, there he is.
That's true.
There he is over there.
Yeah.
Do you see him?
Mhm,
That's him. Yeah.
Somebody could open an email attachment. It's just some footage of him
Yeah.
waving.
There he is. There he is.
Yeah.
Some big briefs.
There's no file photos existing of the Joker, but we got this photo of Mark Hamill waving. He looks quite similar, we're told. I guess they could do that. I don't know.
Have you seen that short of Mark Hamill gets kidnapped by the Joker, the animated one? The actor Mark Hamill?
Yes,
Yeah,
and
it's fun.
it's in the Trickster is also in that.
Yeah,
I think.
I believe so, yeah.
Uh-huh. Also, I read that Michael Rosenbaum is not going to be in this CW crossover.
Did you say he was going to be though?
I think there were rumors he was going to be
Okay.
as an alternate Lex Luthor.
Did you say Tom Welling? Did you
Yeah,
say
Tom Welling.
anything?
Tom Welling was also.
Yeah.
I think maybe confirmed, and then that was confirmed to be not true. So
Interesting.
so a double
There
confirmed.
could be some surprises though, Mason. You never know.
But apparently Michael Rosenbaum was because he's got a podcast.
Yeah.
And I think he was asked about it, and he's like, "Well, they've not called me, so
Oh, there you go.
yeah." So, and also he'd have to shave his head again.
No, he did bald cut for the last episode
Did
of
he?
Smallville. Yeah.
Oh, good for him.
There's a Snake Eyes movie in the works. You know that. It's a G.I. Joe spin-off of those movies that they made.
Yep.
G.I. Joe 2009 and G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra.
Perfect time, just and the perfect protagonist, a guy that doesn't talk and we've
Yes.
never seen his face. How relatable! It's going to be the audience is just going to be people who refuse to take their motorcycle helmets off when they go into a bank.
That sounds bad.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I guess it's the opposite of Deadpool. Imagine someone who doesn't wisecrack.
Unless it's an origin story, because he talked before
Oh, that's true.
the helicopter accident.
Before he mouth got replaced with the snake eyes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's right.
Or he got snake eyes in a game of dice,
Uh-huh.
craps, and they took his mouth. Is that what happened?
No, what happened is that he was like this decorated military veteran.
Sure.
And somebody got the DVD of the Nicolas Cage movie Snake Eyes and shoved it in his face. And then he lost the ability to talk.
What's that got to do with the decorated military veteran thing? You could have taken that out, don't you
I guess
think?
I could. He was just a regular guy. Nicolas Cage DVD.
Okay, gotcha. Anyway, that's in the works, but there's another G.I. Joe ensemble piece which is also happening.
This is fascinating, considering...
Yes.
Did the last two do well?
I don't know.
Okay,
Not
great.
super well, I'd imagine.
yeah.
Because they didn't make one immediately after. Also, did you see the last one with The Rock where he played...
Hawk or Duke, maybe?
No, I think Duke is... No, Duke is Channing Tatum.
Uh-huh.
And... Bruce
Roadblock.
Willis...
He was Roadblock.
Okay. And Bruce Willis played like the original
Joe,
G.I. Joe,
yeah.
whatever.
Mhm.
Great.
Yeah.
Anyway, we know it's going to include Chuckles. And I asked you
Yes.
before the show, and I need you to know, Mason,
Yep.
if you can tell me if this is true. Is he known for his undercover and infiltration work?
He's known for that, and also the fact that the best method of being undercover is wearing a really loud Hawaiian shirt at all times. That's his undercover outfit.
Just to clarify, this
Yes.
was a show that was popular in the 80s, is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah, well, you would have been undercover there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Everyone was Miami Vicing it.
Yeah.
Everyone was Don Johnsoning
That's
it.
true, yeah.
Everyone was the one with the waves or whatever. What's that show called? Hawaii Five-Oing.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, Don with the waves.
That wasn't the 80s.
Wasn't it?
That was the 60s.
Was it really?
Yeah, and then they did a remake like a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I knew that. There was really no Hawaii Five-O in the 80s.
I don't think so.
What a world.
Anyway, Chuckles.
Yeah.
Who are they going to get for Chuckles?
Are you excited for it?
No. No, not at all.
The Hawaii Five-O 1980s cast. There you go.
Oh, really?
It was
There you go.
1980s.
All right. Who was the star of
Oh,
that?
wait, maybe not. Oh, no, it went from 68 to 80, so I just made it in. There you
Okay,
go.
good. All right.
Whew, I nearly look like an idiot.
68 to 80.
It's only 12 years.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
MASH ran for MASH is still running.
It's true, yeah.
It's called Are We Trapped in Purgatory? What is this now?
Yeah, that's true.
Was this in the Korean War go for 3 years?
Oh my god, so many helicopters arriving. They're always arriving. There's so many wounded. Where are they coming from?
MASH ran for 11 or 13 years, and the Korean War went for 3 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess it's the crossing over of multiple decades that got me
Yes,
there.
definitely. 68 to 80 does sound
Yeah.
insane.
It's like somebody who was born in 1899 and they died in 2000. You're like,
yeah, right.
what the hell? That shouldn't have happened.
There you go. G.I. Joe, they're probably, I hope they do Transformers and whatever.
Do you think it's going to be the same continuity, or do you think it's going to be a rebooted continuity?
Follow-up question for you.
Yes.
Do you think it matters?
I don't think it'll matter box office wise, but I would rather it be a new continuity.
Yeah.
I'd rather it be like,
You'd rather be more like the action figure line
yeah,
than
Hawaiian
men in-
shirts,
yes, but
many points of articulation.
yeah, you want the different outfits, because if they've got in the first movie,
Yeah.
which I've talked about before, but I quite like that because I hadn't seen a movie in a year because I was living in Africa,
Yeah, right.
Mason. And then the first movie I watched on the plane was G.I. Joe. The Rise
Rise
of
of
Cobra.
Cobra.
And I'm like, this is the fucking best movie I've ever seen.
Wow. And have you rewatched
No,
it since
of
then?
course I haven't.
Oh my god, you
Because
really?
it's not, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. Should it?
There was
stay-
a tap, it had a sensor in the bathroom, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
Oh,
It was like...
I thought you
what a
meant in the
world.
movie. You focused on. You kept rewatching the scene where Duke washes his hands in the bathroom. You're like, oh my god, he's doing it. He's really doing it. Yeah, I guess you want to keep it as a plain movie forever, just
Yeah.
a movie I watched when I was.
We'll watch it again for Caravan of Garbage.
Okay,
if
all right.
They bring out another one.
Look, I would kind of like it to lean more heavily toward. Yeah, you're right, because the last couple of movies it was just
Generic army dudes?
generic army dudes more or less. And also
Snake
weird,
Eyes.
and Snake Eyes and weird power suits and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah, well, look, I don't entirely hate those movies, but I should.
Yeah, you're right. You should. I don't remember liking the last one very much at all, except for the bit where they're swinging on ropes on the side of the mountain.
Yeah,
I'm like, holy hell, is
yeah.
this good?
See, I feel that was the most that part was the most out of the comic books.
Yes.
The G.I. Joe comic books had this real ninja phase for a few years, and that's some primo stuff right at the nose.
Primo Magimo. That's what I say. What else we got here? So Variety's Brett Lang.
No idea who that is.
He's got a scoop.
Okay,
just
I'm ready.
crediting. We're doing some crediting, Mason.
All right, cool.
Do you mind
All
not
right.
besmirching Brett Lang's
All
name?
right, all right.
From sources, he says there's debates whether Deadpool can move seamlessly from R-rated solo outings and PG-13 MCU movies. Disney posted 100... Oh, that's the next bit of news. So basically, can
Oh
they
my
do...
god, Disney posted 100 of what?
107 heads.
Oh my god.
Of
Click
former-
to see if you're one of them. Click. Oh, man.
so
No wonder all this blood's squirting from the stump of my neck. Ugh.
So, I guess the question is, can you PG-13 Deadpool?
Yep.
And I believe that you can.
Absolutely you can,
Because
yeah.
most of the comics are, I guess.
Yeah, that's
Not
true, yeah.
most. A lot are. And I think
Yeah.
you can kind of make a meta joke of it when he's playing with other characters, and then you
Yep.
put him in his own R-rated movies.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. I think if that character works outside of being PG-13. It's not like Spawn where it's
Yeah.
like, well, he has to be this particular
Exactly.
type of
And I
thing.
mean, if you restrict him to action sequences,
Yeah.
there's not much that you see in the Deadpool movies that you don't really see in
Yeah.
the rest of the
just
MCU.
a bit more kind of
There's,
blood
people
sprays.
getting shot in the groin, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But there's some hard hits
Yeah.
in the MCU movies. So.
I think it also could be fun, like presumably they did with that Christmas cut of Deadpool 2.
Yep.
Where that he's aware that he is in a PG-13 Marvel movie.
For sure, yeah.
And everyone else is
Yeah.
like, who is this lunatic?
And I feel that's kind of a staple of, or has been a staple of Marvel Comics for years. It's a character who is aware that they're in a...
He knows what he's in.
In a comic
Yeah.
book, and
Yeah.
everybody else thinks they're insane. And
Yeah.
I think that would be... And again, it's not going to be the Avengers and Daredevil, and they all get the Avengers get an hour of screen time, and he gets an hour of screen
Yeah.
time kind of thing. It'll be part of a team movie, and he'll
and
get...
him and Rocket will have some banter.
Exactly. He'll get 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And he can nod at the audience. There'll be 100% be a scene where he's by himself and he'll give like a nod and a wink to the audience.
Definitely.
You know.
Good. Also, Disney posted 107 heads, but in addition to that, there was 170 million operating loss for its fiscal third quarter, largely due to the $250 million worldwide gross. Gross is the word, Mason. Of Dark Phoenix got
Oh yeah.
So a lot of the Fox properties that they have inherited and then released are bad and not doing well.
I understand. Sure.
Yeah, so I don't think this matters at this point. Disney are like $8 billion up this year or something.
Exactly.
Anyway,
Yeah.
which has never been done before.
Yeah. I mean, if they consume all their competition and some of the stuff they release from that competition is no good, they've still bought all the competition.
That's right,
So
exactly.
What are you going to do? Watch a different movie?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Probably watch a Disney movie.
Yeah, you'll have to, won't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. One more bit of news,
I'm ready.
Mason. Disney Plus is getting some reboots.
Oh yes.
This is
Well,
very-
see, we're hearing so much Disney Plus. Put it out. Put your bloody Disney Plus out, Disney.
November.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's coming.
You've thought of everything, haven't you?
Me?
You always got an answer, don't you?
Well, I try to be informed.
That's true.
So if that's I don't mean that to be a bad
I'm
thing.
deeply offended.
This includes Cheaper by the Dozen, Night at the Museum, Diary of a Wimpy Kid,
Yes.
and Home Alone,
Oh.
which is relevant to us, I guess, because Macaulay Culkin, it seems, the real-life actor person, has been watching Caravan of Garbage.
That's
which
fun.
is very fun and nice of him to shout us out on Twitter and I was going to say and such, but I think it was just Twitter.
Just Twitter, but yeah. That's,
People say, can he come on the show? Absolutely.
Sure.
If he wants to.
if he wants to, he can come along. He can if he wants to fly us to his place where he lives in France.
Yep. Does he live in
I
France?
think he might do, or he did
Holy
for a
hell,
while.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
If he wants us to fly us to the south of France and
We'll
do
go to
his
the south of
podcast,
France.
we'll go to his podcast. Yeah.
And we'll have him on our podcast also.
Yes, that's right.
Anyway, this is never going to happen.
Yeah,
is
I
what
was
we're
going to
saying.
say, yeah. If he wants to come to suburban Melbourne in the dead of winter
Yeah.
and fight his way through the rain.
What a weird scenario, though. Because if someone had have told me as like a kid, people know him. He's like one of the most
Yeah.
famous people in the world.
James, if somebody said to you that in the future you'd be making videos for the internet on pop culture entertainment,
via some kind of electronic mail platform.
exactly, and that Macaulay Culkin, star of the Home Alone and Richie Rich movies, was watching those and said that he enjoyed them, you would look at yourself in a mirror and you would take both of your hands and you would slap them on the sides of your face and you would scream in delight and pain,
That's right.
as if you'd put on some aftershave on your face and the alcoholic content was stingy to you. That's how you would feel.
I could see how that would be a scenario that would play out in
That's
the
right.
90s. Yeah.
That's right.
I don't use an aftershave like that with alcohol in it. It's not good for your skin. Don't be doing that, all right?
Right.
Get a soothing balm.
Get them home.
Okay. Oh my God. 2 ads in a row. You ready for them both?
Yeah.
Or do I break them up separately?
No, put them together.
I agree.
One big lump.
Don't skip them though, anybody.
Never skip them.
Never skip, never tip.
Excuse me?
Well, that's a little thing that's coming up when we're talking about
Reservoir
the things.
Dogs.
But
Yeah.
do tip.
Yeah, definitely tip. Yeah.
Yes. Mason, Casper mattresses, they are products that are designed cleverly to mimic human curves, providing supportive comfort for all kinds of bodies.
You sound like you're falling into a deep, deep sleep because of your Casper mattress.
Mason, just the idea of a Casper mattress puts me in a comfortable and smooth mood.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because you spend 1/3 of your life sleeping, so you should be comfortable. The experts at Casper work tirelessly to make quality sleep surfaces that cradle your natural geometry in all the right places.
Butt, legs.
Yes. Head, face.
Hamstrings.
Hamstrings, glutes. It's also butts, I guess.
Pecs.
Yeah.
If you're like
If you're on
front,
your
if you're
chest.
a front sleeper.
I'm not a front sleeper.
No, who's a front sleeper? That's odd,
Who
right?
wants to sleep on their face?
But there's got to be one person. There's got to be.
Definitely.
We're going to get an email that's like, well, I go to sleep 100% on my front. I listen to the podcast while sleeping completely on my front, and I'm never listening again.
I have a friend that when he drinks, he sleeps with his head tucked down and his bum in the air.
Wow. Do you think Casper has a mattress for that?
I hope so.
Yeah,
I think any mattress would be fine. Like the original Casper mattress, because it combines multiple supportive memory foams for a quality sleep surface for the right amount of sink and bounce. The breathable design helps you sleep cool and regulate your body temperature throughout the night. And with over 20,000 reviews and an average of 4.8 stars across Casper, Amazon, and Google, Casper is fast becoming the internet's favourite mattress. It's got a great unboxing experience, as I'm sure you're aware. That's right.
how it
That's the
goes.
noise it makes.
It doesn't really make any noise, but you
No.
can make whatever noise you want. That's the beauty of it. The unboxing experience.
It allows you
You're
to
inside
bring-
your house,
yeah.
presumably. You can make whatever noise you want.
Oh, it's so good.
Try and do that at a mattress store. Can't do it.
Get out of here. They won't let you.
They won't allow it.
Yeah. But yeah, so it comes straight to your house in a nice tidy box. You put it where you want it to be. Easy as you like, it opens and it's there. That's right, isn't it, Mason?
Mm-hmm.
You can get $50 towards select mattresses by visiting casper.com/theweeklyplanet and use the offer code theweeklyplanet, all
Ooh.
one word. Terms and conditions apply. That's $50? What? Towards select mattresses?
A crisp pineapple. That's what we call them in Australia.
That's true.
$50 is a pineapple.
Because there's a pineapple on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's right. The big pineapple. That's famous Australian landmark, the big pineapple.
So it's $50 towards select mattresses by visiting casper.com/theweeklyplanet and use the offer code theweeklyplanet, all one word. Terms and conditions apply. Well, what else we got here? HelloFresh, Mason.
Yes.
HelloFresh makes cooking delicious meals at home a reality, regardless of your comfort in the kitchen. You want step-by-step recipes? You got them. You want pre-measured ingredients? Good, because you got that also. All right?
Yes,
It's
that
just
is
too
good.
aggressive. I feel like I'm selling it more.
No, that's really good. I think
Yeah.
that's what they want.
You have everything you need to get a wow-worthy dinner on the table in just about 30 minutes. I don't like cooking any more than that because then it feels like a burden, a chore.
It really does.
And I don't want that.
Exactly. And by that point, you're like, oh my God, I could have just ordered a pizza that's really horrible for me.
That's
and it'll be
right.
here by now. Oh my God, what was I thinking? It's 32 minutes. Oh my God, this is a nightmare.
Exactly. Now, there's something for everybody, from family recipes to calorie smart and vegetarian. And there's fun menu series like Hall of Fame and Craft Burgers.
Oh, I like a craft burger.
I know you do.
Mm-hmm.
You can also easily change your delivery days, food preferences, and skip a week whenever you need. You're not locked in. Just do what you need to do, man. But look, I've been getting it on and off for maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years now.
Oh, yes. Time just flies when
it
you're
really
having a
does.
great time with HelloFresh.
One of my favorites that I had recently is beef tenderloin in a mushroom sauce served over truffled risotto.
Oh, Mr. Fancy Man. Wow.
You'd think, but it was so easy to prepare, Mason.
You didn't even have to get your trained pigs to go out and find the truffles.
No.
You just send them. HelloFresh has got the trained pigs to find the truffles.
I gave them the night off.
That's right.
Yeah, and I made them a delicious risotto. Pigs love it
Pigs
too,
love
Mason.
risotto. It's true.
Yeah.
It's hot wet rice. That's
Yeah.
what they like.
But what makes it easy about cooking a meal like that is it sounds complicated, but like I said, and I need to stress this, they're individually kind of portioned everything you need. There's no like leftover stuff. It's the exact amount of things. You don't have to go to the shop and buy like a giant thing of whatever and only use a tiny fraction of it.
Exactly.
It's exactly what you need. For $80 off your first month of HelloFresh, oh my goodness, that's too much. Go to hellofresh.com/weeklyplanet80 as in 80 and enter weeklyplanet80, all one word at checkout as in 80. That's $80 off. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, that's so much
Your
money.
first month of HelloFresh, go to hellofresh.com/weeklyplanet80 and enter weeklyplanet80. By the way, with that $80, it's like receiving 8 free meals, which is insane. Wouldn't you love 8 free meals, Mason?
That's 8 nights off for the pigs.
You know it is. I'm with the show, I think.
Yes.
All right, Mason, next week we are doing Once Upon a Time. It's Hollywood in the 60s.
Oh, yes.
Brad Pitt. He's got abs still. How does he do it?
I don't know.
You and growth
We're
hormone,
doing
I
Once
assume.
Upon a Time in Hollywood. Brad Pitt is, for some reason, Leonardo DiCaprio's stuntman.
That is weird. isn't
Even
it?
though, by any objective measure, he's way more handsome.
And maybe a better actor. Is he? Let's find out next week. Anyway, this came out like 2 weeks ago in the US. It hasn't been out here or the UK, so we cannot talk about it as of yet. But we did think and continue to thought that we could talk about some Quentin Tarantino movies, Mason.
Do you want to start the entire sentence again or no?
Why would I need to?
Good point. What you're going to do is you're going to go later, you're going to re-record that sentence so it's perfect. And then put it in there and I'm going to look like an idiot.
So we thought we'd talk about his two first cinematic major motion picture releases,
Yes.
1992's Reservoir Dogs.
Some say the best independent movie of all time.
Yes, and then 1994's Pulp Fiction. I can't
Some say a
believe
movie of all time.
Yeah, that's true. These are some very rude movies.
They're rude movies. Well, it's interesting because I haven't...
Spoilers also.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And watch them, would
Yeah.
you say?
I haven't seen these. I haven't seen either of these in quite some time.
I reckon I haven't seen Pulp Fiction in not Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs in maybe 20 years.
Yeah, right.
Which means I'm real old.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's interesting to watch these in the context of knowing a little bit more about film production or like
Yes.
cinematography techniques or even just knowing more about Quentin Tarantino or
career,
the
yeah.
actors in the movie. Like in this one, I'm like, I wonder how long till we see some women's feet in this movie. I wonder how long it's gonna happen before
There's not a hell of a lot, is there?
There's not a lot. I mean, in Pulp Fiction.
More in Pulp Fiction,
Well, I mean,
yeah.
in Reservoir Dogs, there's no women.
Yeah.
There's one woman. There's the woman that shoots Tim Roth.
Yes.
As he tries to carjack her.
Yeah.
But in Pulp Fiction, when Vincent Vega goes
yeah.
to get his heroin,
Yeah.
there's like some high-heeled shoes just on the wall.
Sure.
There's just like, and then the first appearance of Uma Thurman as Mia Wallace, you see her feet first.
Yes.
Feet first, and then
Feet
pan
first.
up.
Yeah, that's right.
But again, like it's that thing of like, well, now because Quentin Tarantino is alleged to have a foot fetish,
Yeah.
I'm looking out for that. Like your
Yeah.
brain fills in the gaps. I'm like, oh,
I'd kind of forgotten that. I
Yeah,
think,
right.
But the thing is, I just want to clarify
Also, this is just going to be foot talk.
Yeah, it's mostly foot. I'm not a foot guy. I'm not against them, but I think there are way worse things that you could be.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's fine.
I think it's
a
just
human
fun.
foot.
It's
Who
funny
cares?
more
Yeah.
than it is
Yeah,
anything else.
exactly.
Yeah, I'm not here to kink shame anyone.
Yeah, that's it.
If you like feet or don't like feet, if you have feet,
Good on ya.
Get out of here.
Get on those feet.
Yeah.
Be getting out of here. I guess we'll go Reservoir Dogs first, but we'll jump around a bit, obviously.
sure.
The opening dialogue scene is of that movie is like the most Tarantino thing I think I've ever. I kind of vaguely remembered it where they're talking about what like a virgin means or whatever.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, this is fucking rough. now it is anyway.
Well, again,
'Cause it's so. I like this movie. I should
Yeah,
point
for sure.
out,
I
but
like
it's
both of
so
these, yeah.
clever and like.
Well, yeah, and it's what I think we also do is if you haven't seen a movie like this in a long time and, you know, it's widely regarded as a classic and you have fond memories of it, I think your brain sort of romanticizes certain elements of these
Yeah.
movies and kind of streamlines them. And I remember that conversation being kind of much more casual and smooth
Yeah.
than it is. But again, it's kind of, you know, it's
feels like a theater production. Almost.
it does
I
feel
don't even
kind
know,
of
yeah.
like it does kind of feel theatery, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's Quentin Tarantino's character, who's Mr. Brown, explaining what he thinks or what he's been told the song "Like a Virgin" is about, and yeah.
I feel like a lot of these characters, I'm like, that's just a thing that Quentin Tarantino thinks about a thing.
Well, I mean, a lot. Apparently, like, according to him, his writing process is he hears a lot of conversations and he sees a lot of things,
Yeah.
and they all sort of percolate in his brain. And then when he gets down to writing stuff,
It all kind of.
it all comes out fully formed.
Yeah, I
kind of
can
thing.
see that,
And
yeah.
what I like, you know, about his process as he explains it is that he doesn't.
know where it's going. Is that right?
And he doesn't he won't necessarily know. He won't write dialogue for a scene necessarily. He'll take a character and say, well, what would this character say?
Yeah,
and
right.
then what would this character say? You know,
In relation to
in
this
reply,
character.
and he'll build the conversation that way, kind of thing.
I guess that's
he won't come up with a
yeah.
series of funny lines for them to say, and
I guess that's why a lot of this feels more natural and
Yeah.
they're not kind of big performances, I guess, for the most
Yeah,
part. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think this did change a lot of things for the better and the worse if you're bad at this kind of thing.
right,
You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of like people like emulating this style, which doesn't really seem to work as well. Like the movie Go, presumably,
Okay, right.
which I haven't seen in a long time.
Uh-huh.
Do you think this opening scene helps or hinders the tipping industry? Because they talk about
yeah,
how
right.
the Steve Buscemi character, Mr. Pink, I
Mr.
wanna
Pink
say.
doesn't tip,
I'm just
yeah.
going to call him by the actor's name.
Okay, right.
because-
He's Mr. Pink. Don't
Yeah,
worry. Yeah.
and because they earn minimum, they already earn a wage, and he doesn't want to contribute
Right.
to the idea that he should have to supplement the wage of people when it should be the government.
I think it
Mm.
definitely emboldens people who don't tip in the first place. They'll be like, remember when the cool crime guy said it? Remember
They're all
Mr.
wearing suits.
Mr. Crime said it. Remember that?
Yeah.
Nah, just tip.
Just tip, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wonder. I do wonder though what the result of that was, because apparently there was a bit of backlash of kind of like, these are people rely on this money,
Yeah.
and he's like, anybody can be a waitress. Don't even worry about it. It's
Yeah,
not even
right.
a difficult job. Why should we give them
Right,
more or
right,
whatever?
right.
I just wondered what the kind of fallout of that would
All
have
I
been.
know is that it had a 20% increase in the number of Mini Coopers sold.
Oh, really?
No, actually, I'm thinking of the Italian Job,
Which one?
the remake.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We did a caravan of
We
garbage
did.
on that, didn't we, Mason?
That's true. Yeah. How do you feel about in Reservoir Dogs? The scene Harvey Keitel and so Mr. Orange, Tim Roth, Mr. Orange, they escape.
Yeah.
And Mr. Orange has been shot.
Yeah.
And he's
Really screaming.
He's crying and wailing.
Yeah.
And he's really just hammering that American accent that maybe he hasn't quite perfected yet.
Yes, right, sure. Maybe there is a big
Yeah.
performance in this.
Mr. White and Mr.
Well,
Orange.
it
there
is
we go.
harder to kind of scream in an accent.
That's true, yeah.
That's what they
Uh-huh.
say. I was just thinking the whole time, how is this guy not dead? Like the
Yeah.
amount of blood that comes out of that
Uh-huh.
bloke, and when
Yeah.
he's lying on the floor in the
Yeah.
apparently though they had a paramedic on set to make sure that it was a realistic amount of blood.
Okay,
or whatever.
right.
But,
He's
but
go
sorry,
ahead.
no, you go.
Well, I was going to say, I saw Pulp Fiction first,
Yeah.
and then I saw Reservoir Dogs maybe a year later. And I think if I'd gone into Reservoir Dogs not knowing that it was widely regarded as a cult classic,
Yeah.
and I'd had the pedigree of Quentin Tarantino Pulp Fiction behind it, I think I would have seen that opening sequence in the car and been like, I'm not watching this. He's like, I'm dying, man. He's like a Muppet in the back seat.
He's just got a big rubbery mouth.
I can't believe she shot me, man. You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what
Yeah.
you're talking about. I think that I felt the opposite though, and maybe it's because I know it's a Quentin Tarantino
Yeah, right.
movie, but I thought it was a really compelling. Like it's just dudes chatting away
Yeah.
in a cafe or whatever, and then there's a 40-minute opening credits, and then there's just he's been shot and what happened.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's Tarantino's great strength in these first couple of movies is that he tells these stories, non-linearly, and you never get lost at any point.
Totally.
Especially with Pulp Fiction,
Yes.
which is all over the place.
Absolutely it is, yeah.
It's not like they go, okay, here's the past, here's the present, here's the past, here's the present.
Yeah.
It's just, okay, here's the end of the movie, and then here's several days ago, and here's...
And this character who was dead, now we're going to do 30 minutes on that character
Yeah,
before
exactly,
they
yeah.
died or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a testament, especially in Pulp Fiction, that you never get lost.
You know what I thought was interesting about this one as well? I didn't really remember like the similarities between this and The Hateful Eight, because Hateful Eight is also mostly set in one location, like
Yes.
Reservoir Dogs. Reservoir Dogs probably got more cutting back and forth to various things, but it's like a stage play,
Yeah, right.
It's like this one location. It's mostly just dialogue. There's a traitor in there. They're trying to figure out who the traitor is. I think there's a lot in common between those two movies, and I think The Hateful Eight maybe would have been a direct kind of effort to get back to that kind of simple storytelling.
Right.
It's not that simple, is it? It's quite there's
Yeah,
there's
right.
a lot of flashbacks and whatever.
But I
There's a lot
think you're
going
right
on.
in that, prior to that, he'd done Kill Bill, 2 huge movies.
Yeah.
He'd done Death Proof, and he'd also done Inglourious Basterds, which is,
Yes. It's mostly linear, I want to say.
It is, but it's also, that's a huge production.
Yes.
To take a guy who's normally like, yeah, okay, contemporary Los Angeles,
Yeah.
and it's some guys in suits and they have a shootout. But now here's
some
World
of
War
it's
II.
black and white, I guess. Yeah.
Here's World War II.
Yeah.
That can't be.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
I
Yeah, you're right,
imagine,
yeah.
I
It was
wouldn't be-
Django after that.
Oh yeah, it was too.
No, you're right. It was no. Yeah, it was. It was Django, and then it was.
That's
sorry,
true, yeah.
Mm.
But I mean, just
Yeah.
the idea of like.
But even that's difficult.
Well,
yeah.
exactly. The production keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't surprise me if he was like, okay, let's strip this back to basics kind
Yeah.
of thing. But also, I want to milk the Western genre for all it's worth.
Absolutely, you do.
Mm.
I love the way that he's clicking the lighter with his fingers to light it. I remember at the time, like, because he had a Zippo, and to light a cigarette, he click the rolly bit.
Oh, yes.
But I remember knowing people at the time who would do that, and I'm like, that's not the easiest way to light that, is it? It's the cool way to light it, you think. You
Yeah,
think it's
that's
the cool way.
right. Mm-hmm.
But just, come on.
Yeah, right.
What are you doing to yourself?
Oh, I get
it's
it, yeah.
embarrassing. Did Jonah Hill base his entire personality on Sean Penn in this movie? That's a good question.
It's a really good question. Yeah, that's true. Do you think that's true?
I think there's so much Jonah Hill in Sean Penn, it astonished me. If you would have been like, that's Jonah Hill's dad, I would have been like, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is it's Jonah Hill's. Especially when you look at like Wolf of Wall Street. I don't know. And I mean, maybe it's just the look. He looks like Jonah Hill, right?
Okay, sure. But I mean, isn't that more the idea that...
No, Chris Penn. It's not Sean Penn. It's Chris Penn.
It's Chris Penn. That's true.
He's now dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think that's more a function of that Nice Guy Eddie is kind of he's kind of like a mob stereotype kind of character?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Is it more that Jonah Hill's based his entire personality on mob stereotypes?
It's entirely possible. Anyway, I just thought that was I was like, this guy's so Jonah Hill. It's crazy.
Yeah, right.
I don't know what's going on here. That's stuck in the middle with you scene where he cuts off the guy's ear. You can see that it's like a prosthetic where it's like layered over the top of his real
But
ear.
it's still immensely disturbing.
It's horrible. See the cartilage in the hole in his ear. And
what's interesting in rewatching these movies, I very much felt like Pulp Fiction's still kind of like the quaint, funny one. Like it's kind of...
Out of these two, yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, this one's so...
A guy's head explodes in Pulp Fiction, but it is way easier to watch than a guy slowly cutting off a man's ear, like dancing around and then splashing him in petrol as he's like screaming and crying.
That's true. But I also think maybe that's a function of there's way more pop culture parodies of Pulp Fiction stuff at this point. And I think it's kind of like it's dull.
Even like the Z stuff has been parodied in like The Simpsons.
Well, exactly, yeah. So I think I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this. This is a funny family movie, isn't it?
Yeah. I looked up this guy's name. His name is Kirk Boltz, who plays the cop. He's terrific in this movie.
Yeah,
I'm kind of surprised he didn't also go on to kind of do like bigger things in this. He really sells that torture.
That's true.
And he's just like, I mean, I know it's the makeup effects as well, but just the crying and the way he's,
I spent a lot of these movies also going, these characters are really strong. I enjoy these characters. I wonder what would happen to these guys in the future, and then they get shot. And I'm like, oh, that's right, they died. I forgot. I'm like, I wonder what's going to happen to this cop. You know, he's good. You know, I wonder what his future holds. Maybe they could put him in a future. Oh wait, Nice Guy, he shoots him.
What I did see in this movie, and it's probably been done before, but I remember at the time not having seen it, where when Stuck in the Middle of With You was playing, and he goes out to the car to get the can of gasoline, and the music fades as he leaves.
Yeah,
and
right.
then he comes back in and it kicks back in.
Diegetic music, I think that's called.
Okay, right,
which is where the soundtrack only exists within the movie. So it's not an overlay. It's kind of like we hear what the characters are listening to. These are the first movies. It was the Blues Brothers is the first soundtrack that I ever got on tape.
Right.
But I think this Pulp Fiction especially was the first movie that made me go, who are all the people on this soundtrack?
Yeah, right.
What are the origins of these songs? I'm going to get this sound because I got the double pack. I got the Reservoir Dogs Pulp Fiction
very good.
CD soundtrack. And I'm like, I got to learn more about all this stuff.
Absolutely.
And also the liner notes had all sorts of biographical information and like why Quentin Tarantino chose all these.
Did it? Okay,
yeah,
that's interesting.
He's a real...
I think there's been some flow over that into like Guardians of the Galaxy.
For sure,
Baby Driver, other worse movies, presumably. You know what I mean? Suicide Squad, probably.
Boondock Saints, probably.
Yeah, Boondock Saints, probably. I should watch that again. I remember liking it. Yeah. Which one do you prefer, the second one or the first one?
I've never seen the second one.
Which one do you prefer, though?
The first one.
Yeah, shoots the cat.
I saw the people for GQ. I think it's GQ or Vanity Fair break down their famous roles.
Yeah.
And Willem Dafoe did one for him
I've
for
seen that,
Spider-Man, etc. And he said in it, I always know exactly the kind of person who's going to come up to me and say, I love Boondock Saints. He never describes it, but you can imagine.
Is it the fedora or the trench coat?
Yeah, it's one of those, giveaway, isn't it?
Is it the holster in the belt for the samurai sword?
Yeah, it's definitely that.
So Mr. Orange is a cop. I don't remember spotting that twist at the time.
Yeah.
Do you think it's well hidden? I think it is.
What do you mean?
That he's the cop. That reveal, if you didn't know that.
When
he's in the movie.
Yeah, I know. I know that.
I mean, did you suspect that because you know one of them's a cop or a rat? Do you think if you didn't know that?
Yes.
And
you missed all the flashback sequences where he is a cop?
No, but that only happens after he shoots the Michael Marsden character.
Does it?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh.
And then it's revealed that he's like, I'm a cop, and he's like, I know you're a cop, you dumbass.
Well, I wouldn't
Okay.
I wouldn't have given the game away.
Okay, never mind
I'd have been like, thanks for saving my life. I'm a criminal like you. Now where's that ambulance?
Because I thought...
Load me up in that ambulance.
I believe it's that scene, and then it's the flashback where he tells the made-up drug dealing story. Which I really like the narrative of that, where he goes, look, if you're going to be infiltrating this mob gang or whatever, here's the script of a really compelling story I want you to tell. And then it goes through him rehearsing it and then practicing in front of the mirror or whatever. And then it's him telling it in
I'm going to go out on a limb
time.
and say we definitely see that before everyone shot at the end.
Tweet us in,
Yeah.
yes or no.
Okay.
Do we or do we not? You might be right.
Yeah.
I think if comic books would have stayed more niche
Yes.
as movies, Quentin Tarantino would have done one. Because in this I spotted there's a Silver Surfer poster. He says that guy looks like the Thing, the mob boss.
Right,
There's an Iron Man figurine. I think if they had have stayed like B movie characters.
Oh, he would definitely would have done one.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they'd stayed kind of, absolutely.
Didn't we talk about doing... He wanted to do Luke Cage for years, I want to say.
That makes a lot of sense.
Does that
Yep. Okay.
Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it gives him an excuse to say the N-word a lot. So
Yes,
yes,
that's
he would have. That is 100% the project he would have chosen.
There's a lot of that in this, isn't
Oh
there?
my god, he
Yeah.
he defended it. I think Spike Lee said, "Why do you keep using the N-word in these movies?" And he's like, "Well, it's why can a black director do it and I can't do it?" And
I just wouldn't do it.
there's other words to use.
Yeah.
Just say, you know what? There's one word you're not allowed to use.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I mean, it's obviously PC gone mad.
It's obviously PC gone mad.
Or don't do it.
And look in the defense, and even Samuel L. Jackson's come to his defense and saying,
Yeah.
well, okay, well these are all
Exactly. Who are we to say that?
These are all inarguably horrible people.
Yeah.
You know, and they're probably going to say the N-word at
Yes.
some point.
And of course, there is that element of it. They're all terrible, terrible criminals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Anyway.
But also, you don't. But again, then I guess he would defend it in the sense of like, well, I've created this real character. What would this real character say?
Yeah,
But also, you are writing them, so you can just have them say something else.
absolutely. Apparently, I read this on the trivias that Mr. White meets up with Patricia Arquette's character from True Romance at the end of this or something, and they were going to merge the True Romance universe into this universe. or
Really?
something.
Okay.
Also, I don't know if you
Because
know.
the thing that I do know is that Tarantino got the money to make this movie because he sold the True Romance script.
Yes.
Yeah.
And which Tony Scott directed, is that
Yes.
right? The True Romance is not as good as this.
No,
feel.
I agree, yeah. Uh-huh.
I think it's also, it's not the Tony Scott thing. I just don't think it's as good a script as this.
For sure.
I feel. Also, was it a True Romance? I think it was just a regular.
Kind of a regular
Romance,
romance.
that's
Regular
kind of-
romance, they just had guns.
Yeah,
you know?
that's right.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting about this movie as well? That you don't see
Which one are we talking about?
Right,
Reservoir
it's
Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs. You don't actually see the heist in it, but there is
No.
a video game.
Yeah.
Where you do the heist.
Yes.
I've never played it.
Uh-huh.
But it kind of fills in that gap. Apparently, it's not very good.
Yeah, right.
But yeah.
There's an Inception prequel comic called The Kobold Job,
Oh yeah.
which explains the job that they screwed up
Ah.
prior to the events of the movie.
Is it good?
I don't remember it being good.
Came out in 2006. It's a PlayStation 2 and Xbox game.
Banned in Australia, if I remember
Yes,
correctly.
I think you're right. It was in
or
that-
refused classification,
because
which is
we
as
didn't
good
have
as
we
banned.
didn't have an R rating.
Yeah,
then,
right, uh-huh.
But I believe it wasn't.
Wow, there you
Reception,
go.
gameplay, third person, controversy, refused, whatever.
Third person, did you say?
Yeah, third person.
Okay, right.
So there you go. So I mean, you
okay.
can still order it from overseas.
Yeah, right. But you don't want to. Just watch a Let's Play.
Watch a Let's Play, Mason. Oh, not in 2006.
Yeah, right.
You'd not be watching no Let's Plays.
Uh-huh.
Maybe you'd download one on eBarm's World. I
Yeah.
can't find any reviews of this fucking thing. I just want to know whether it was good or like the critical consensus.
If you played it, was it good or not? Yes
No,
or no?
because that'll muddy the other one.
All right, fine.
50% on Metacritic.
Oh, not bad.
Ignore that second thing.
Okay.
Or if you're going to talk about the second thing, specify it, say second thing, yes or no.
Okay, right.
Okay, just towards the end of this. You know how the Vega brothers, right?
Yes.
They get on the Vega bus because they
Yes.
were going to do a Vega prequel film.
Yes, uh-huh. Sure.
Both the Vega brothers end up dead.
Is
One
it Vic Vega and Vincent Vega?
Yes,
Okay.
in whatever order.
That's very confusing for their parents.
I agree. Or they change their names because it's entirely possible.
Well, that's true, yeah.
One's Victory Vega
Yes.
and one's Vincent Vega.
Okay,
so,
all
yeah.
right.
So there was going to be a movie called Double V Vega. And if you thought it was a Street Fighter movie,
Yes.
it's not that.
Okay.
That did come out. There's a Vega character, isn't there, in Street Fighter, Mason? He's got a claw, doesn't he?
That's true.
That's good. But they were going to... Quentin Tarantino...
Side note, originally, the character of M. Bison was called Vega.
Is that true?
Yes.
Wow. We should do a Street Fighter episode.
And the character Balrog was called M. Bison because he's like Mike Tyson, but he was Mike Bison. But then they gave it the old switcheroo. They switched all those
so
three
Mike
names
Tyson
around.
wouldn't sue, I
guess
assume?
so, yeah. Mhm, yeah.
There you go. Oh, I'm learning things too.
That's right.
Anyway, so it's going to be a movie. It was going to be a John Travolta, Michael Marsden movie. Madsen, sorry. Marsden, he's an author. And it was going to be a prequel where it explored like their adventures, maybe in Amsterdam or whatever.
Oh, for sure, because he spent years over there.
Yeah, 3 years or whatever it is. The thing is, they aged out of the role, and that's why they kind of stopped doing it. But I think if you wanted to do it now, with modern technology, you could actually do it. I think you could de-age them both.
Okay.
I don't think Quentin Tarantino would be interested in doing that necessarily, but I think you could do it. I also heard...
Would you watch a movie set in any of the Quentin Tarantino worlds, not directed by Quentin Tarantino?
I mean, I guess so.
Would you watch Reservoir Dogs directed by McG, as an example?
Yeah.
Or Michael Bay.
I mean, I wouldn't watch it thinking...
Michael Bay's Reservoir Dogs 2.
Michael Bay's Reservoir
Dark
Dogs
of the Moon. It's set on the moon.
Well, then, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably. I mean, is True Romance set in the same universe? And the vampire one is
Dusk Till Dawn.
that set in the movie universe within...
Oh, sure.
Pulp
Right.
Fiction
Well, that
universe?
is the that
Well, because
is
there's do you want to
that is
explain
the
the two
eternal
universes?
the Tarantino the theory of the Tarantino universe is that some of the movies are set ostensibly in the real world, our world,
Yeah.
and some of the movies are set in. Some of the movies
It's the movies that they watch.
would watch in that
Yeah.
universe. So
Kill Bill.
and the linchpin apparently is that in Inglourious Bastards, which is set in the real quote unquote real world,
The Pulp Fiction world or whatever.
is that yes, it's set in the same universe as Pulp Fiction. Is that the hyper-violent death of Hitler in that movie theater caused people to only love really violent, horrific movies?
How did the word even get out that they machine gunned him?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's probably a bold young filmmaker there.
No
just,
doubt.
Just
Hand
filming Hitler's feet, you know? So everybody would know.
You're probably right.
Yeah, and then apparently, and
Yeah.
so in Pulp Fiction, which we'll get to in a sec, Uma Thurman's character Mia Wallace was in a TV pilot called Fox Force 5, and there are some parallels to those characters and the characters in Kill Bill.
Because maybe... Yeah, so Kill Bill is set in the movie universe within Tarantino,
Yes,
isn't it?
that's
'Cause
right.
It's like the hyper-violent
Yeah.
kung fu and whatever. And like Planet Terror is in there.
Yep. Death Proof.
Death Proof is in there, and maybe some other ones, probably, presumably. Yeah, so, but anyway, I heard an idea. I think it might have been John Travolta, and I couldn't find the interview. I read it years ago where he said...
Oh, how did you feel about this? Well, we'll talk about it when we talk about Pulp Fiction.
Yes, we definitely will.
Your arch nemesis.
But he's like, well, we've aged out of the roles, if he did say this. But somebody said it, I can't remember who. But he goes, we thought of an idea around it, and that is that I could come back and play Vincent Vega's twin brother, and Michael Madsen could play the twin brother of his character from Pulp Fiction, and then we meet up. So those guys would be two separate identical twins who had their twins killed, and then they come together.
Oh my God.
I know.
Wow.
And I'm like, is that what people want? What are you doing?
I mean, John Travolta could also come back as the Archangel Michael from the movie Michael.
Sure, he could.
And Michael Madsen could come back as literally any of the many characters he's
I
played.
thought the movie Michael was a sequel to the movie Phenomenon.
Oh, yeah, right.
You know, a magical nice guy.
Magical nice man, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He's an angel, not a saint, remember?
Oh, you know, I remember. Yeah.
Let's do Pulp Fiction.
Oh, can we talk about just before we can?
Sure.
A character that gets almost no screen time is Mr. Blue, who's Eddie Bunker, who's the
real
older.
life.
Yeah, he's a real
Yeah.
life. He was a real life armed robber.
Yeah.
Went to jail for many things.
Yeah.
And then in the 70s, because I didn't know anything about him, and he looked like that guy. I'm like, who's this guy?
He
You
probably
know?
robbed your dad.
I was gonna be he looked like maybe like a sitcom character from the 70s or something like
right.
that. And I'm like, who is this guy? And so he was an armed robber, bank robber, drug dealing, extortion, and then he got released from prison in 1975 and decided to become a crime writer and an actor.
Right.
And so he's
And didn't he... I read an interview with him where he was talking about, yeah, if we were really doing a heist like this, like a diamond heist, we wouldn't all wear the same suits and sit in a diner and then go rob a jewelry store
yeah.
because we're pretty easily identifiable.
That's true.
But also, because you've got to remember that the Pulp Fiction movie universe, even though it has movies within the universe, though the Pulp Fiction is a movie within our universe. So it's actually
true,
a movie.
Yeah.
So that's
and
really,
that all,
you can get away with that.
Well, exactly. And also, isn't the larger universe explanation is also that the Pulp Fiction universe, the Reservoir Dogs universe, is also more it's overall more violent as well because society has reflected off the more violent movies they see and has in fact become more violent and more stylized, I guess.
Yeah.
So you absolutely would all wear identical suits and knock over a jewelry store. Also, what's the cops' plan? Is it to wait till they all get machine gunned and then...
I guess so.
Okay, right.
It's a good question.
Isn't it, though?
Yeah, and that's the world we live in. Pulp Fiction, 1994. Apparently, it cost $8 million to make. $5 million of that was spent on cast, but it made $200 million in total, so it did very well. Though I also read somewhere that each of the major players, like the major cast members, got $20,000 a week. So maybe that is that. Also, when I started watching this one again, and it opens up with what's the dialogue? It opens with Pulp Fiction.
It's Tim Roth and
they're in the diner.
Amanda Plummer and they're
I had to like snap back into it. I'm like, I can't fucking follow this.
Really?
Like I really had to because I'm used to kind of half watching something.
Oh sure, yeah.
So I'm like, oh shit, I really got to pay attention to this.
Yeah. Did you feel that was a chore though? Because I was like,
Little bit.
really? Because I'm like, I'm really actually getting. I like the little.
Maybe because
world
I know
they're
where
in,
it goes.
Oh yeah, I
that
guess that's
particular
probably true.
moment.
Yeah.
But it objectively, that's a good scene. I assume.
And they're talking about how,
who to rob and why.
Yeah, it's who to rob and why, and you should, banks are easy to rob because they're all insured and nobody cares and blah blah blah. But you should definitely rob this restaurant because nobody's expecting it.
Yes. Is this better? Do you
Than
think than
Reservoir Dogs?
Yeah.
Absolutely, I think it is. Yeah,
I agree.
I think it's the acting's better.
Yep.
They let Tim Roth use his own accent.
Yes.
It's more colourful. It's got more colourful characters. It's funnier.
It's definitely funnier. Yeah.
I mean, he's never. Quentin Tarantino has never said that any of his movies are comedies. I don't think he's always like these are dramas, but this is
funnier than most.
Real
movies.
life is funny. You know what I mean?
When they're banging
comical violent misadventures are very funny.
So I looked this up because I'm like, Quentin Tarantino must have lived in Amsterdam or just recently been to Amsterdam.
Or it's just one of these. No, again, I think it's just one of those.
No, he did. I looked it up.
He did. Okay,
He wrote the script in Amsterdam.
Oh, right, okay.
Because he's talking about what kind of food there is in Europe. And if you go to and this is how you've been to Amsterdam, have you?
I have not.
I've been to Amsterdam, Mason, because of course I have. I've been there twice because I'm around the world.
Okay.
But
I have eaten a Royale with cheese in Paris.
I haven't done that. Okay. So there's definitely that, like, I think that would have been more interesting to be like, wow, in Europe they say different things. Like now it's like it's obvious. It's like, well, yeah, things are named different things in different places.
But you're also
and you can buy different things in different parts of the world.
Well, that is true. But also, it's.
Maybe I'm so cultured, Mason.
Well, you are very cultured, but also again, these are two. They're hired killers, but they're also ostensibly average Joes from America.
Yeah, you're right.
So they've never been.
I was gonna say,
aside from this trip to Amsterdam, they've never been outside of America.
Yeah.
So
I think because I was thinking about. Well, I googled. Did Pulp Fiction increase restaurant robberies?
Okay.
Because it basically made a really excellent case for you should rob restaurants as opposed to banks.
Look, you were definitely.
I'm saying, does movies influence society for the worst, Mason?
Does Quentin Tarantino movies specifically? He's the first influencer. He's increasing restaurant robberies. He's lowering tipping.
He's doing it all. Anyway, I didn't get that result, but I did get
heroin use.
That's right.
Adrenaline to the chest just to see what'll happen.
Apparently, you shouldn't do that. It's not how you would get out of that situation. But I didn't come up, but I did get what's the point of Pulp Fiction? That was like one of the top results. And I think
what's the point of it?
Well, what it said is that this movie is a search for meaning,
right?
And an explanation and like how things work and an exploration of ideas and whatever. And I think it really is, especially because of the Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta characters, because it's just. What's this called? What's a TV pilot? Would you give a guy a foot massage? Like it's just like it's constant, just firing questions at each other.
It's a couple of things. I think
it's bar trivia.
It's bar trivia. I think what works about this movie is it's the mundanity of life, and then it's incredible bursts of violence.
Yes.
Like that's it. It's like, well, I can relate because we're having a dumb conversation about your trip to Amsterdam and blah blah blah, and then. There's somebody's head explodes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think, but that wasn't a slight, by the way. I didn't mean it to sound like a negative, but I just thought that was really,
and also
being aware of that.
I think that another lesson is be alert when you go to the toilet.
Yes.
Because because whenever you come out, something bad's gonna happen.
To you or others.
Yeah, you're gonna be in the toilet for 5 minutes and somebody's gonna overdose on heroin.
Yeah.
Or Bruce Willis is gonna be there with a machine gun. He's
Yeah.
gonna kill you.
You know what's interesting about that Bruce Willis? Oh, there's a robbery in a restaurant.
Uh-huh.
But the reason he goes to the toilet a lot is because apparently a side effect of heroin addiction, and this is in Trainspotting, is constipation.
All right.
So that's why he's constantly going to the toilet, or he's just sitting on the toilet
Well,
for so
isn't that?
long.
I mean, that's because you would think you'd go to the toilet less.
Yeah. And you know when...
But that, I guess, hope springs eternal. You know,
Boy, does
every
it.
time you see a toilet, you just go there
just
and
go
just be
there.
like, I'm gonna try.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
But this is jumping forward a bit in the movie, but the moment where Bruce Willis gets machine guns John Travolta, I was thinking, why did he not hear him come in? Because he's stomping around his apartment, he's putting Pop-Tarts in.
Yeah.
I'm like, get out of there, Bruce Willis. What are you
Right,
doing? But the reason is...
Is it because he's on heroin? Right
he's on
now?
heroin. Well, Quentin Tarantino confirmed this, but basically... You know, Marcel Wallace was coming back with 2 cups of coffee. So he'd left the apartment to go and get snacks.
Oh, I see.
And John Travolta's thinking, no one's dumb enough to come back to
Yeah,
the
right,
apartment. Because he wouldn't have come back if it wasn't for the watch.
Right.
So that's why he runs into him outside of the apartment. And that's why John Travolta doesn't think anything of the noise, because he just thinks it's his boss.
Oh,
And
right.
also he probably doesn't know the machine gun's there because it's not his. It's his boss's that left it there and
okay,
then
right.
went out to get the coffee. Because he doesn't carry a machine gun.
Yeah. Interesting that Marcellus Wallace, the gang boss, is going out for the coffee.
He likes the fresh air.
Oh, okay.
Also, John Travolta's on the toilet.
I guess that's probably true.
Yeah. Here's a question. Oh, okay. Travolta and Jackson are a great combination. Samuel L. Jackson is particularly good in this movie. And that interrogation scene is incredible.
Damning John Travolta with faint praise.
No, he's
as
good in
always.
this.
Yeah,
He's good. He's
Yeah.
really good in this.
Apparently, Tarantino saw him in the movie. It's a Brian De Palma movie called Blowout, which is from the early '80s, which is actually very good. You should.
I've never
check
seen
it out
that,
sometime. It's kind of like a Rear Window kind of movie where he's like a sound engineer.
Yeah.
And his boss is like, you got to go out and get bloody more realistic wind noises for this movie. And so he goes out into the night and he accidentally records like a gunshot. He sees a car accident and he records the noise and he's like, oh, there's a gunshot. So,
Yeah.
you know, there's an assassination's afoot, and then he has to sort of go on the run. It's a
Ah,
good movie.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, you'll have to get over your Travolta bias to watch it.
He's good in things.
Yeah, that's true.
and I've said this before, he had multiple opportunities and squandered them
I
on
understand.
garbage.
Sure.
He did make Be Cool. No, the other one,
Get
which
Shorty.
is good. Get Shorty, which is
Uh-huh.
good. Apparently, there's. I don't think this works, but Jules is the piano player in Kill Bill. Some people think, because his idea is, I want to go on the road and be a drifter or whatever. I want to retire from this
Right.
life. And then he shows up in Kill Bill, but that couldn't work if Kill Bill was set in the movie universe.
That's true.
Within this universe.
Also, I have no memory of him in Kill Bill.
Yeah,
Is he in 2?
He's before the bride gets shot in the head. I think.
Oh, he's in the church.
I believe so.
Right, okay, I don't remember
I haven't
that.
seen that movie
Okay,
in a long
right,
time. Uma Thurman's really good in this.
Yes.
And that Halloween costume you still cannot escape.
That's true, yeah.
The black bob haircut.
Well, that's true.
And the white shirt.
If you see somebody in that outfit, there's only ever one person it can be. So
Yeah,
that's
that's it.
the mark of a good,
if
a
they're
memorable
if
costume.
they're committing to it, they'll probably do a needle sticking out of the chest, I'd
Yeah,
imagine. Apparently, she wasn't really sure she was going to do it, and Tarantino read her the script over the phone, and he's talked about how she's his muse and all those kind of things before. She was married to Ethan Hawke at the time.
Oh, my
I
muse,
believe.
my size 10 muse, my size 10 wide.
Here's a question for you though.
Talking about a feet.
I
Yes.
know what you're talking about.
Okay.
In the diner scene,
Yes.
is that a good dance or a ridiculous dance?
I don't know. I don't know. And also, it's the because it's a twist competition in a 1950s themed.
Cost $150,000 to make that.
Oh,
set,
they built it.
apparently,
Okay,
yeah.
so that's not existing. That was
I
never
thought it was initially. I found conflicting information, but
Okay,
I saw
right,
that
yeah.
in particular.
But
yeah.
it's this bizarre 1950s themed diner where you can sit in a convertible car and receive
Yeah.
your meal and what have you, and everybody gets served by Hollywood icons of the past and,
Yep.
and that kind of thing.
$5
So-
milkshakes.
$5
Australian.
milkshakes.
I'm like, that's quite reasonable.
Yeah, well, I was going to say these days.
I'd definitely pay $5 for the
yeah.
world's best milkshake, shake, whatever it's called.
I don't know. I was under the impression that it's you want to do your best 1950s twist,
Yeah.
so it doesn't have to be good. It just has to be what they did in the 1950s.
Well, then it wasn't good.
Yeah, correct.
Because I remember that being like the coolest
Yeah.
thing in the world.
Oh yeah.
But if I saw that now, and probably because it's I know what it's from.
Yes, exactly.
And he's doing the two fingers across the eyes
Yeah,
or whatever.
uh-huh.
What do you think of Travolta's wig in this? Or parts of wig or whatever's going on there?
I don't mind it.
Me neither.
Uh-huh.
I enjoy it in Iron Man 3 also on Happy Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Christopher Walken's excellent in the... God, he's young in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favourite part about the Christopher Walken scene, and I'd forgotten until just now, he says that he wore the watch up his ass for 2 years. He didn't keep it up there, he wore it up there.
Do you reckon that's an ad-lib or do you reckon
I don't
that's...
know.
Because apparently...
It could be a flub. I
Could
don't know.
be. Well, he keeps a lot of flubs in this.
I mean, nobody reflexively says, I kept the watch up there.
No,
you always
that's
say, I
true.
wore a watch.
Yeah, up my ass.
Yeah.
Because the moment when, John Travolta crashes the car into Eric Stoltz's house and then comes out,
Yeah.
and he's trying to be like, I got this is Marcellus Wallace's wife or whatever, he flubs a line and he just keeps going.
Right.
But it kind of feels natural because you don't always speak properly.
Well, that's true.
You
There's
specifically.
also another flub that when Honey Bunny, right at the start of the movie, she says she's going to kill everybody. She gets up on the table. When we see it again later, it's a different line.
That's intentional though.
Ah,
because apparently
is that
the
an
eye-
unreliable narrator kind of
Yeah,
situation?
because one of them's from her perspective, which is what actually happened, and one's from Samuel L. Jackson's perspective.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there you go.
Or it's a flub.
Or it's a
And
flub.
they've said it in
yeah.
they've in hindsight they've been like, yeah, no, that's deliberate.
Do you remember when Bruce Willis used to be good?
At acting, yeah.
God, he's good in
and
this.
caring about things.
Yeah. Apparently Mickey Rourke passed on this for a real boxing career,
Oh.
which I think he would have been.
Well,
And
now he's the heavyweight champion of the world. So
that's true. He made it, didn't he?
he's been the heavyweight champion of the world for
And he
nearly
tells
20 years.
and he tells the story on his face.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
I think Matt Dillon was it this role he was offered? I think it was. And he didn't get back immediately, so that he
Oh, and he
gave it to
lost it.
someone.
Wow,
I think it was
okay.
either this or something else.
Right.
I don't like Bruce Willis's manic pixie dream girlfriend. That is just not a real person.
Right, okay, sure.
And I think this movie is responsible for manic pixie dream girls.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Even more so than Zooey Deschanel
Yep.
or even more so than...
Just like, yeah, because she's like, oh, I want to go and I want to...
Even more so than
I want
Zach
to-
Braff?
I want to live on a river and make paper flowers and whatever. And Bruce Willis is like, where's my fucking watch? And she's like, oh, I just want to drink milk out of a cow's udder or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Mhm.
She's not a real person, is
Yeah,
what
no,
I'm saying.
I
She's a
understand.
fake human being.
Yeah. I thought...
I'm not saying she's bad.
No,
I'm
I also think that a lot of their kind of lovey-dovey, like it was intended to build this idea of they've been in a relationship for a long time, so they've got cute nicknames for each other, and
Sure.
they've got a little repartee going on.
Yes.
But you're right, it's thoroughly annoying.
Yeah. Also, did you know that this is not the first movie that John Travolta and Bruce Willis have done together?
Oh,
Look Who's Talking, Mason. And maybe the sequel.
Right, I get it.
Back Together.
No, I
Two
get it.
great tastes
Yeah, right.
that taste great together.
Did they ever? I wonder if they ever interacted, like on set, or is just because Bruce
Oh,
Willis
yeah.
is the voice.
Probably not, I'd
Maybe
imagine.
never. Yeah.
Yeah. That Zed thing that whole element is terrifying.
Yeah, and it's interesting as well because they're characters out of nowhere. They don't relate to the plot in any
No.
way. They just run into some bizarre deviant predators for
Yeah.
no reason, right?
Apparently they're brothers, those guys as well, or whatever. Yeah, could you kind of think he's breaking up the fight initially, or when I
Yeah.
first saw it, obviously,
right, uh-huh.
and then it just turns really quickly. It's
Yeah.
horrifying, but it's got a very satisfying conclusion.
Yeah, man shot in the dick.
Match-
That's how all movies should end.
That's right.
The most satisfying
Yeah.
conclusion.
The Mummy at the end,
Yeah.
Brendan Fraser.
Shot in the
Fraser,
dick.
Shot in the dick.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on the Marcellus Wallace band-aid on the back of
look,
the neck?
what else could it be? So
Okay. Do you wanna explain this before we- yeah.
the ongoing I don't know if Quentin Tarantino's ever confirmed this or
I have the actual information. on it,
Okay,
so yeah.
the MacGuffin of this movie is the thing that everybody wants is a briefcase.
It's been confirmed, by the way, because he's had to answer this question every day for 20
Okay.
years.
Yeah,
So
I was going to say, this is his Buzz Aldrin man walking on the moon scenario. So the MacGuffin is this briefcase. Everybody wants the briefcase.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to keep this briefcase secure. It's something that Marcellus Wallace, it's his property.
Yes.
And it keeps bouncing around between people. And you open up the briefcase and there's just a glowing orange light. We don't know what it is.
Initially, it was just going to be like, they added that element, that supernatural
right.
element. It was just
Yeah,
going to be
right.
a briefcase, yeah.
And the clue that people point to is that Marcellus Wallace has a band-aid on the back of his
Yep.
head, and so the main theory is that he got his soul sucked out through the back of his neck, and
Yeah.
it's in the briefcase, and he needs it. He can't put it back in.
Yep.
But it's just in the briefcase.
Wants to carry it around with him.
So you're saying Quentin Tarantino has been asked about this for 20 years?
Yes. So, first of all, on that Band-Aid, apparently it's just a coincidence because he cut himself shaving his head.
All right.
So, it's not even supposed to be related to that thing. That being said, you can interpret anything from
Well,
this.
that's true.
And this... Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I read a thread on this on Twitter, not on this specific thing, but just like people, asking authors or what have you, going up, during Q&As and saying,
What's this exact?
does this sequence of numbers represent this? And people just going, no, it's just a coincidence. Catch 22 apparently was originally called Catch 18.
All right.
But there was another book that came out that had 18 in the title, and Joseph Heller just went 22 then, I guess. So there's no...
So, is that the actual origin of Catch-22?
Yes.
The phrase?
Yes.
I did not know that.
The novel Catch 22.
And I've seen The Great Show.
I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a lot of this stuff is just the mythos builds from just a coincidence, or like I don't think it was Kurosawa, but it was a Japanese director, and they said it was asked of him, that beautiful pan shot in your movie, why did you stop here? Why did you start here and stop here? Does this represent anything? He's like, well, if I moved an inch to the left, you'd see the Sony factory in this medieval movie, and if we moved to the right, you'd see the freeway.
Yeah, right.
So
yeah.
I just had to stop there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. David F. Sandberg, who did Shazam, he put a really interesting video up on his YouTube recently where he talks about how a lot of the things that people read into, a lot of film essayists on YouTube in particular, they're reading into all these elements of filmmaking which are just happenstance in situations like you're talking about.
Yeah, right.
There's a moment in Shazam where he's trying to fly in the mall and there's people behind him, right? And they green screened out all the people who are behind him, like lifting him up on cables. But there's crew members standing just to the side who are in the shot that they forgot to remove.
Oh, right. Oh, in the theatrical release.
Yeah. So it would have been more expensive to remove them. So they just CGI'd in a bunch of bags in front of them so they're shoppers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And because they're crew members just standing there just watching the scene unfold.
Right.
So he's saying like things like that where a lot of the things it's just this is how we're going to have to make this work because filmmaking is just problem solving.
Well, exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, and cameras and stuff.
Exactly. What were we talking about before
the briefcase.
Oh, the briefcase, right.
Okay, so the original plan was there was a rumor that the original plan was going to be that it was going to contain the diamonds from Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, right.
And the other one is, the thing you said about the soul. But Quentin Tarantino just says it's not supposed to be anything. It's whatever you think it should be.
Well, exactly. Yeah, that's the essential element of a MacGuffin. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
If it has any real,
what are you going to do with a human soul anyway?
Exactly. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. What's bloody Tim Roth, the bloody restaurant thief, burglar robber? What's he want with a human soul? Is he going to eat it?
Yeah. Do you think this has got a satisfying conclusion, or do you think it's? I like the abrupt ending. It's not kind of satisfying. I just, in the sense of like, wow, like that really built to a climax. It doesn't really build to anything. It just stops. But I like that because this world kind of continues on. Well, you know what happens to Travolta.
Yeah, exactly. It's a 50 short films about Springfield situation.
That's right. Yeah.
It's a slice of life with some characters, some of whom are worse than others.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most are bad.
Most are so bad. They're all the worst. They're either murderers or manic pixie dream girls.
That's right.
Yuck.
Yeah. Yuck.
Yeah. I like the fact that they had, and there was, for some characters, like for Mia Wallace and Vincent Vega, there was like the soft ending where they're like, okay, bye. Like we had that horrible, experience, and but then later we get a little catch up with them.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I
never thank you
for dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's like, yeah.
Remember that time you had that you snorted that
Too much
heroin?
and Eric Stoltz was not a fan either. Me bringing in the apartment. Eric Stoltz is good in this, isn't he? Mm-hmm. I started watching The Prophecy.
What if they deleted and replaced it with Michael J. Fox?
That's a cow agreeing with you.
Yeah, I see. Sorry, you were saying?
I can't remember. Eric
great.
Stoltz Prophecy. Mm-hmm. It's about demons in the 90s or some shit. Okay. There's a bit where they get the gun unloaded on them and one of them learns a lesson and the other one's just like, sometimes bullets miss.
Yeah,
There's an interpretation of that scene. First of all, the bullet holes are already behind them before he fires the gun.
Oh, I see, right.
But when they walk away, there's bullet holes also directly behind them, which means it may have actually been a miracle.
Oh, yes,
the bullets
okay,
actually didn't hit them. So that's God's way of saying, like, here's a second chance, and one of them takes it and one of them doesn't. So... But again,
but also they both lived. So
no, they didn't.
Oh yeah, one of them. I was going to say, oh yeah.
One of them chooses to
Yeah.
continue the life and
That's
thinks
right,
it
and he
means
gets
nothing.
machine gunned by Bruce Willis.
And the
yeah.
other's like, I'm going to be a drifter.
You know why? Because I remember, because again, it's out of.
Exactly.
It's out of. So I remember them just leaving the diner and being like,
Yeah.
"Oh, good for them."
I-
I wonder how the rest of their lives were. Oh, machine gunned to death. Okay.
Now I know that this has been done.
Yes.
But I wonder how this plays chronologically if you recut
Oh
it.
yeah, right. Uh huh.
Probably not as good, I'd imagine, but still quite good.
Yeah. Also, yeah, very much not as good because again, you'd see Travolta
Yeah.
come out of the diner and get machine gunned,
Yes.
and then you'd be like, "Oh,
That's the end,
that's
I guess.
the end of him." I suppose.
Oh no,
yeah.
then there's the Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
the
Okay,
guy
so chronologically,
It ends
what's
with
the
Bruce
last?
Willis
It's
escaping, I guess?
Bruce Willis escaping. Okay, right.
Great. It's like the movie Heart's War.
Is it?
Maybe. I never saw the end.
All right, good.
But it's about Bruce Willis escaping with Colin Farrell. But I think he doesn't make it.
Huh.
I can't remember. Well, it was like for a second out of the corner of my eye, I thought there was someone standing right here next to me. Yeah.
Wow.
Jeez, I'm
Bruce
tired.
Willis making Pop Tarts. Is that what it was?
God, that really freaked me out. I don't know if you noticed that, but
Yeah.
really.
Also, get off the toilet. We've got to go record a podcast.
Mr. Wolf, I guess that's the last thing we could talk about here.
yeah.
Harvey Keitel returns as a different character, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good character. What I like about that is the respect and the lore around that character.
Yeah,
the way
right.
that people treat him and listen to him for the most part. And he's fast on his feet and he's an ideas man. And, you know, he's been presented with a scenario that he probably hasn't been in before.
Yeah, he could have been promoted to management at this point, but he likes getting his hands dirty, you know?
He likes, I like that. It's like, it's 30 minutes away. I'll be there in 10.
Yeah,
or
right.
whatever. Good on him.
That sounds unsafe.
It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, I think I've written a list of movies that this is responsible for.
Oh, I was just
going to
say, we're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, the last thing I was going to say is like, what is this?
Yeah.
What has this done for the movie industry?
Yeah.
These two movies, especially.
Go.
All right.
It's out of order. Way of the Gun.
All right.
The Big Hit.
I feel like Way of the Gun is most notable for the opening
The Sarah
sequence,
Silverman.
and then nothing
Yeah,
else.
you're
But all
probably
right.
right. Well, I think that's is that Christopher McQuarrie, I want to say?
Oh, it might be.
Mission Impossible. The Big Hit with Mark Wahlberg, which
Sure.
some people have recommended us doing. Get Shorty, of course,
Yeah,
which came out the following year. Boondock Saints. And even though Sin City, the comic, was written before,
Yep.
it's structured, some cuts are structured like a Pulp Fiction kind
I
of
guess that's true. Yeah.
version.
Well, I guess this both of these movies sort of repopularized kind of hard-boiled crime narratives.
It was Christopher McQuarrie, yeah. He was blacklisted after this because it didn't do well. Way of the Gun.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. How poorly did it do?
I don't know. It wasn't very good, I remember, from memory.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, how far he's come, you know?
Yeah, he really has.
Yeah,
He's a
but
good
it's
director.
did this repopularize?
Made 13 million off 21 million.
Oh, that's
So
less.
it's bad. Yeah.
Did this sort of repopularize like noir crime and it also, I don't know, were these movies did they kick off Everything's a Reference? You know, just movies that are just
Well, I think Clerks and Mallrats as
Yeah,
well.
I guess that's
and those
true,
kind-
yeah.
that was this era, so not necessarily.
yeah, I
but
guess that's probably true.
there is a lot of like, do you remember this TV show? Yeah, I remember that TV show. Do you remember this actor? Yeah, I remember that actor. It's the podcast of its day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, wow.
Do you think
imagine if we attempted to inform the public about pop culture news in the 90s and podcasting didn't exist, so we had to make an independent movie every week. We'd have to make an independent crime movie every week.
Yeah, exactly.
With twists and turns and non-linear narratives, and then we'd be like, did you hear they're casting a Joker movie?
Yeah. But who do you think's sweeping the corridors of the Batcave? We're doing it all.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, that's those two movies, isn't it?
Yeah.
Watch.
Still hold up?
Yeah, I think so, especially Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
It's very rude, though, isn't it? They're rude
They're
movies.
rude
They're
movies.
rude boys for the most part.
Yeah,
being
rude. They're saying R words and other R words
Yeah.
and G words and all sorts of words.
So rude.
And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just think of the worst word starting that letter. They've said it. They just said it.
Yeah. We know what I liked about doing this.
Yes.
These are movies that I'm familiar with and then rewatch, and you kind of and you can look up trivia and you pick up new things a second time, as opposed to watching a movie and then 3 days later being like, what's everything you remember from Hobbs and Shaw? So I think I definitely preferred I'm glad we're coming out of the blockbuster season where I could be like, can we talk about...
To answer your question, it's the bit where the car and the motorcycle go under the truck. That's all I remember. And then they go to Samoa.
Yes, I do.
Yep.
It was the bad boys of its day,
Yeah.
too. Because there's an extra 30 minutes at the end.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know what it's time for?
What we reading?
What are we going to read?
Oh, yeah.
I'm doing the thing. What are we reading today? What do you got?
Season 3 of Glow's out on Netflix.
Oh, I
I'm
never
excited for
finished
that.
2.
It's good. Well, all right.
I know
then-
it's good. Yeah.
Okay, right. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Why didn't you?
Because
Is the
life gets
question.
in the way, you know what I
Life
mean?
does get in the way, that's
Yeah.
true, yeah.
Season 2 is the same as in quality, isn't it?
I think
For
so,
the most
yeah.
part? Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Hmm.
And it's a rare Netflix show that's got 3 seasons. I don't know if this is rounding it out.
Yeah,
but,
right. Yeah. Doesn't seem super expensive. It's mostly hiring a gym, isn't it?
Yep. It's hiring a gym and hairspray.
Yes, that's
those
not
two
wrong,
things, yeah.
On DVD, so you can get all the references from the era.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
Travolta, he's back.
Oh, goodness gracious. That's not a good movie either. Do you remember Travolta in that movie? They're like, Travolta's
I
playing...
haven't seen it.
Okay, I have.
Yes.
I saw it at the movies. I was at uni when it came out.
Uh-huh.
I used to live with, Becky and Claire, who you know.
Yes.
And we went to see it. It's fine. It's not terrible. But I remember, like, people like, you won't even recognize John Travolta because he plays somebody's mum in it.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, that's clearly fucking John Travolta. It's obviously John Travolta.
They meant acting-wise.
Yeah, but it's still John Travolta.
Well, they should have said you won't recognize John Travolta from his acting, but you will recognize the physical presence of John Travolta in a lady suit.
He's got a variety of wigs. I can pick him up. I can
true.
pick him out from a mile
You've
away.
seen every configuration of John Travolta wearing a wig there is. He can't fool you in any way.
He's actually a good performance. He does a dance in it. He's good in it. But yeah, it's obviously John Travolta.
Yeah, right. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Anyway, I've been watching Avengers Endgame. It's so long. I started last night.
You've been watching it in segments.
Yeah, that's right.
Uh-huh.
So it was like an hour and a half in. I'm like, I'm gonna have to come back to this because I got to get up early. So I'm restarting it again. Those 2 movies could have been 3 movies easily. I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah.
I'm glad it was 2.
What's having rewatched the first hour and a half? What springs out at you? What's
It's funny.
What's hell? Okay, it's funny.
quite funny,
Is
yeah.
the key?
Yeah.
and that's
Rocket in
interesting because
particular,
that's the most hellish part. The first half, it's just like
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah.
like everybody's dead. It's been years.
There's some great.
We're all so sad.
That's true. But there's some great deleted scenes that I've seen as well where Rocket Raccoon is laughing at them because they're talking about the Chitauri army. And he's like, you just got to blow up the main ship. And they're like, we didn't know that. And he's like, they're the worst army in the galaxy. And then Tony Stark comes up on him and shaves the back of his head.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So there's little moments like that which are quite good.
Does he have a shaved back of the head for the rest of the movie?
I don't
wonder?
believe so, no.
Okay, right.
There's
Too expensive.
That's right. I love the what's up regular sized man joke.
Oh, yeah.
What Rhodey calls Ant-Man or whatever. It's just a good movie.
It is a good movie.
And it goes forever.
So long.
Yeah. We should do a commentary at some point.
But it's so long.
It is so long.
We'll have to build in a toilet break somehow.
No, or we're going to have to dehydrate.
Because of heroin.
Because of the heroin, yeah. That's not a bad idea.
Heroin?
Well, if we do the heroin, then we'd be backed up.
Ah, perfect. We should have watched Pulp Fiction before we saw the...
Agreed.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What have you been reading, though? Anyway, Avengers Endgame.
You mean besides Glow, season 3?
Oh, yeah, you said that
I
already.
said mere moments ago.
That's true.
I haven't had time. I'm going to get to it. It's
Yeah,
gonna
that's
be,
all right.
going to be good.
Well, you've been watching some Caravan of Garbage stuff, though, haven't you?
Have I?
We recorded some things this week.
All right. Tell me
Upcoming.
about it.
We did 3. No,
Yes.
we did. We have.
Oh, we did. Okay,
Yeah.
right.
We've talked about one of them. We'll save the others.
Okay.
I just guess next segment of
Let's
the
do some
podcast.
letters.
The classic one was
Letters, oh letters, we love you. Some letters, they're only a day away.
I know they're here right now. We're going to do letters.
Hello. Because it's letters time.
Hello, because it's letters time.
Yeah, that's
Very
right.
good.
If you want to reach the show, #WeeklyPlanetPod on Twitter. Sometimes I throw out a tweet before the show to see
Yes.
what's on people's minds.
See who's going to bite.
And sometimes we get emails to weeklyplanetpod@gmail.com. Would you like me to go first or would you like you to go first?
I'll go first. This is from Cole on Twitter. If Quentin Tarantino would have speaking of Quentin Tarantino,
He should change his name to Natural Energy, Wind Power.
who are you talking to?
Cole.
Oh, I get it. That's very good.
Is it?
It's very topical. Is there such a thing as too topical?
I think you could put that into any era and it would play really well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Except an era before they had renewable energy. Because it'd only be coal. You know?
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Yeah.
No, they had windmills.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yep.
You know, they get a bucket, turning a bucket into
How
stream.
windmill works. If Quentin Tarantino were to make a Marvel Studio film, what character would you have him make a movie about? So a character that's not getting a movie at the moment.
I mean, it's a cop out, but like the one that he wants to do.
Oh, Luke Cage.
No, No, not that one, because we've already got that one.
Yeah, right.
But
Oh,
whatever
let him
he's
do
whatever he's
he
interested
wants.
in.
Okay, right. Uh-huh.
Like I don't know if his version of Star Trek is going to be great.
Yeah, right. But he wants to do.
But I
one,
want to
so.
see. But I want to see his
Right,
version
okay.
of it, regardless.
Okay, but let's say we had to railroad him into making something crime related.
Yeah.
Would you watch a Quentin Tarantino Punisher movie? I 100% would do that.
Punished it out, man.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But you
again,
could-
fresh take.
Maybe like a Moon Knight. Then you take someone
Moon Knight's
who's in
good.
that.
I was
kind
thinking
of-
Moon Knight also.
I think Moon Knight's the default for anything. When
Here's-
people are like, "What TV show do you want? What
Yeah.
movie do you want?" I don't know. Moon Knight.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about the Punisher, though, is that he is naturally the least verbose comic book character there is.
Yeah, right.
Like he's the antithesis of a Quentin Tarantino character. He doesn't talk. He doesn't.
Yeah.
There's no wasted words.
That's true,
So
actually,
if you
yeah.
put him in, do you have?
Everybody else does the talking.
Well, maybe that's it. Like
you bring
maybe,
back John Travolta as whatever crime boss he played.
Oh yeah.
Who was it?
I can't remember.
I'll
Yeah.
look it up. But keep
Please
going.
do.
Yeah.
But like, what if you built a Quentin Tarantino universe around him, and everybody's busting out pop culture references, and they're just kind of wacky and talking about the kind of food you get in France or whatever, and he's just this looming figure behind them all, just like this relentless silent killer.
Yeah, right.
I think that would be fun.
That's not a bad idea, actually. Do you think he could do that, though? Like, make that character the straight man and then... I mean, there's a lot of... Howard Saint, by the way.
Howard
John
Saint was the
Travolta,
villain.
yeah.
Okay, right. Maybe. What if you threw him outside the wheelhouse and made him do like the Silver Surfer or something like that?
I think he would do that.
Yeah,
I think
see?
he could. I think
Okay.
he's clearly a fan.
Okay.
Would you give him the Fantastic Four? But they can all say the N-word.
Yes.
Maybe he would. Maybe he would be good
Yeah.
at the Fantastic Four. Can you imagine like a weird
Yeah.
90s throwback Fantastic
Well,
Four
I mean,
movie?
that's the only way it's going to work.
Yeah.
You know, maybe give him a character that's never worked in live action before and see if he can fix it.
I would rather like a breaking genre Fantastic Four movie than just like...
Yeah.
Imagine if the Fantastic Four had their origin in 2023 or whenever these movies are
Yeah,
now set
right,
or
right,
whatever. I
uh-huh.
think, yeah. Than
What's-
just to be like
yeah.
an Ant-Man and the Wasp or whatever.
How would Quentin Tarantino style work in a Silver Surfer universe? Because again, it's very
Yeah.
it's cosmic and it's majestic.
Yes.
And it's kind of
He's not like a big CGI...
well, yeah. Do you give him a point of view, a series of point of view characters?
Like a Sam Jackson, maybe.
Yeah.
like Nick Fury's in space, and you.
Oh
do,
yeah. Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
We do have a built-in
Yeah.
Tarantino surrogate in Sam Jackson. So
Yeah.
I guess you could do that. I mean, you could. There was a series many years ago. It had Alex Ross art. It was called Marvels.
Yeah.
And it was basically about some regular people in the Marvel universe as crazy stuff happens around them, kind of
Okay.
thing. And like the most of the heroes just appeared as kind of background characters. So maybe you do a Silver Surfer movie.
Yeah.
It's the Silver Surfer saving the world from a cosmic disaster, just while regular people are regular.
Regular people are standing around saying the N-word. Is that what you're
Exactly. Let him.
I think I'd rather see the space stuff, if I'm honest.
Right. Well, there would be.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
There would be.
You'd have to ground it in some kind of dialogue, relatable characters.
Exactly,
People
yeah.
explaining what kind
Yeah.
of burgers are in different restaurants to each other.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, what is Quentin Tarantino capable of if you take that away from him?
Yeah.
If you were like, listen, this is going to be a sincere movie about cosmic stuff. You can't have any pop culture conversations. What do you do? Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think he could? Do you think he could embrace that? Because
I think so.
he's like, he's a fan of like your Kurosawas and your kind of more abstract,
Yeah.
action movies or anything where there's very little dialogue or kind of like, spaghetti westerns that are mostly silent,
Yes.
that sort of stuff. So what if you give him kind of like a, and space is kind of a desolate,
Yeah.
Wild West environment. Maybe you could do something with that.
I think if they hadn't have done Guardians of the Galaxy and James Gunn wasn't doing
Yeah.
it, he might have been a good choice for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's a
Uh-huh.
wisecracking pop culture referencing group.
That's true, yeah.
Which is probably also
Yeah.
influenced by Quentin Tarantino
Yeah.
movies as well.
But I want, like, do you think, because again, like, he's Quentin Tarantino is what you'd call an auteur. Like, he does his
Sure.
own style and he's got his own tropes and he makes exactly the movie he wants to make, kind of thing. I wonder if he ever goes, I would kind of like to do something other than what I do.
Yeah, I think
You
so.
know what I
And
mean?
I think that's why he's looking at Star Trek and,
Yeah,
and
right.
whatever, yeah.
Okay.
But I also think that he would never do a Marvel movie in the way that it exists now. And they
Yeah,
wouldn't
right.
want him to do one.
No,
Yeah.
that's probably true.
So in answer to the question, none.
Yeah,
And that's my final word.
yeah. Or we get him to do the Wonder Twins movie for DC, and it's John Travolta and Michael Madsen. It's the Wonder Twins.
It works too, doesn't it?
Yep. Uh huh.
It's perfect.
That's yeah.
Do those guys even have to be brothers? It's just a fun fact, isn't it?
It
that
is,
they're
yeah.
brothers.
No,
I like it.
they're quadruplets.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's fucking
No, wait, they're not
8 of
quadruplets.
them.
They're two sets of twins. They're
Yeah.
two sets of twins. I
According to
apologize.
some.
Yeah.
This is from Francisco on Twitter, #WeeklyPlanetPod. Can you finish explaining why Superman couldn't get into the Fortress of Solitude in that story that ended up not being what he was talking about, so you got cut off? So last week we were talking about this Superman story from the future, and we were talking about different Superman stories from the future.
Okay. The
And
one
I
the
mentioned,
one I'm pretty sure.
Let
yeah.
me finish.
Oh,
no,
right,
you go,
God.
it's fine. No, go.
Well, the one I think you're talking about is DC 1 Million,
Yeah.
which was a Grant Morrison crossover in the early 2000s, probably.
Sure.
And basically the Justice Legion A from 1 million months in the future, which is like 885,000 years or something like that.
Thanks, Professor.
No problem. They come. I'm very smart. They come to the past and they're like, "Hey, we're having a very special celebration. How about you guys? We'll stay here in the present, and we're celebrating superheroes in the future. So how about you all go to the future,
Seems
the
like a
Justice
trap.
League, and then they go into the future, and then all sorts of bloody things happen, and the future
Isn't
guys are stuck.
Batman knockouts future Batman or something?
Well, the present day heroes are stuck in the future, and the future heroes are stuck in the present. And yeah, they agree to an amenable swap, except for Batman, who's suspicious of the whole thing. So future Batman knocks him out, steals his soul out of his body, and then sends that to future and puts it in a clone of himself. So that's how Batman gets there. Anyway, the future version of Superman can't get into the Fortress.
Does he just
of Solitude.
put a body on ice for like 850 years or whatever? Is that how he does it?
No, I think he builds the. Oh, yeah, maybe.
Because he would have had to, right?
Yeah, I
'Cause
guess
he's
so.
not. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, go on.
Okay.
That means he just would have waited his whole life out with that clone just sitting in a tank, going like, "That's going to go off at some point, isn't it?"
It's gonna bloody go right off. And anyway, the future version of Superman can't get in the future, the Fortress of Solitude, because his DNA
Yes.
is too weak. It's been diluted for too many years.
Yes.
So it doesn't recognize him as a proper Kryptonian.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
And the future Superman lives inside the sun, which is a computer. Or
Yes.
is that a different future Superman comic?
No,
yet again?
that's the correct.
And
you
is
are
he
very
all
correct.
gold?
He's
that
all
one?
gold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he's absorbed too much sun.
Yes.
What a cool dude.
He's a very cool dude.
He'd be terrible to stand next to.
Comic books, everybody.
Yeah.
Because he's boring. Or because he's too handsome.
He'd
And
too
you'd look
handsome,
like a
boring.
real Argo.
He couldn't, he'd be bright and you'd probably get radiation poisoning.
Probably radiation poisoning, yeah.
You'd probably tan one side of your body if you stood next to him.
Here's an email from Ty.
I love emails.
This is entitled Ghostbusters 2020 Hot Scoop.
Hot scoop.
The new Ghostbusters film is currently filming here around Calgary, Alberta, Canada. So my girlfriend and I, a bit of a brag,
Hello.
made a trip to the set to check things out and thought I'd share with you the information I was able to get out of my time there. The setting of the movie seems to be in small town America. I think we know that.
Yes.
The original Ecto-1 is back, looking worse than the Millennium Falcon 10 seconds after Han Solo obtained ownership of it.
Yes.
Dan Aykroyd was on set the days that Ecto-1 was being used, as was McKenna Grace. Paul Rudd did a fair bit of filming at a local school. Film Wolfhard was also present the days Paul Rudd was. There are adverts posted all around the town for Stay Puft Marshmallows.
Yeah, was there a picture of that online?
I think there
a
might
few
have
days
been,
ago?
yeah. Let's see. Additionally, I got the opportunity to meet Paul Rudd and asked him if Ant-Man 3 would be announced at D23 later this month, and he said, "Yeah, script's done, man. Don't worry about it." I then shared this with my girlfriend with Rudd still in earshot, to which he said, "I was only kidding, man. I wanted to see how quickly that spread, and it turns out pretty fast." If you ask me, though, he wasn't kidding, and he was just scared that the Marvel NDA ninjas were there to kill him.
Well, we'll find out, won't we?
If
on
they kill him,
D23.
if we're directly responsible for his death.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Oh, that wouldn't surprise me. And
Also, the world's not going to end if we are aware that the script for Ant-Man 3 has been
no,
written.
it's
So,
going to presumably.
yeah.
But that's interesting to get maybe some confirmation that is happening.
Yes.
If this story is true,
Yeah, 'cause
because
that
if
was-
Paul Rudd
Exactly.
it was lying or not.
Yeah. So that,
Yeah.
but that's not on. That wasn't on the slate.
No,
That
well
wasn't
they
on-
are. They did say they're saving some stuff for D23,
Yeah,
I
right.
believe. So
Uh-huh.
that's exciting.
Yeah. So there'll be a Captain Marvel sequel and a Black
Yeah.
Panther sequel and a
yeah, and
Ant-Man
some-
3.
probably some TV stuff or whatever.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
How exciting, Mason! I've got
Very
one more
exci-
tweet if you do not mind.
Please.
From William Howie says, #Weekly Planet Pod. Would you be interested in seeing a DC film set in universe but a long ago, e.g., New Jonah Hex film, a medieval film featuring Etrigan the Demon, or Black Adam film, or the Black Adam film like we're getting? Great show, lads. Keep it up. I don't mind the past, but
Oh,
I would
yes.
rather go Batman Beyond Future.
Right.
We just talked about the future and the DC universe in the future.
Well, we are getting Joker. So
Yes. That is-
a past
yeah,
of
but
sorts.
that's not like a Jonah Hex
No, that's true.
medieval whatever. Yeah.
Look, they've given Jonah Hex their shot. I
I've
don't know.
never seen it.
I also have not seen it.
But
How
he's in
bad
other
could it be?
things. Really bad, apparently.
Yeah,
It's
really
terrible.
bad. Yeah.
It's got that weird bit of skin over his mouth. Just
yeah.
cut that, mate.
Just give it a snip.
Just cut it. What are you
Exactly.
doing?
I thought you were a tough cowboy man.
Yeah.
Just give it a little snip.
How could you eat a big bowl of soup?
Okay, what exists in the DC past that we could?
Well, there's Green Lanterns from.
Well, there's Green Lanterns. We could do a DC Heroes in World War II scenario. I think that could totally work. Yeah, Black Hawks.
Yep.
There was rumors that we're going to get a Black Hawk movie, but I think that might have been set in the present. But I would see a
Exactly.
World War II Black Hawk movie.
Wonder Woman's obviously got
Yeah.
Wonder Woman 84 is in 84, but
Yep.
there's that whole time period you could drop her anywhere really.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Mm.
Mhm.
Would you be interested in going like back though, like before recognizable superheroes?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
What do we have then?
Well, like,
What's that give us?
Specifically Jonah Hex, Etrigan the Demon, and Black Adam or whatever. Do you reckon Black Adam's just going to be Scorpion King?
Yeah, a little bit.
Just a man running in the sand screaming about his family. I haven't seen Scorpion King.
No, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I want to see a distant past DC universe unless it's New Gods, apocalypse kind of
Yeah,
scenario.
I agree.
That could totally work. Yeah.
Agreed.
Mm.
And that's the show, isn't it then?
Yes. Thank
Great.
you everyone for listening.
Yep.
Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for reviewing.
Yes.
Thank you for saying hello when you see me on the street.
Did that happen recently?
Someone said hello on the tram the other day.
Very nice. Yeah.
Yes. Let's see if you want to get in contact with us, not on the street. Weekly Planet Pod on Facebook and a Gmail and Twitter and Bandcamp. You can go to planetbroadcasting.com, sign up to our great newsletter from
Please
Rob
do.
Collings.
He's great.
He's at the Weekly
He's
Planet
great.
on Twitter and Rob Collings. I am Wikipedia Brown on Twitter, and I am also Nick Maso, NickMaseau on Instagram. You're Mr. Sunday Movies everywhere,
I
correct?
certainly am. If you want to review the show on iTunes and the like, it helps a lot. You can do it straight in app right now if you wanted to.
Ooh.
Here's one from Holla323. Why did that take so long?
I don't know.
5 stars, first of all, great.
Oh.
I'm that guy from James's high school doing all those sit-ups on Facebook, and even though James hates me, I love James and Meso's podcast. 2 hilarious guys, great scoops, commentary, and big sandwiches.
Oh, I think maybe on your other podcast, Suggestibles, you teased you were nearly involved in a robbery of some sort.
I was nearly
Did
involved
you
in a
explain that
robbery.
anywhere?
No, I didn't. You want me to do that now? Just
Yes!
quickly? It was, by the way, it's not a big deal.
Yes.
You know, I always say when I go to the Gold Coast,
Yeah.
I see a weird thing.
Yes.
So I was in the service station. It was like 11:30 at night. Which servo?
A gas
station. Okay.
A servo.
We're
Local
going back.
reference.
We're going back to the house to grab some
a
more
petrol
beers.
shop,
Petrol
as
shop.
we call them.
Yeah, you put it in a little baggie and you walk
Yeah, you
out the
walk
door,
it
a little
up, yeah.
paper bag. Environment.
1 punnet of petrol, please, I say.
So we're in there and we were at the back and this guy walked in who looked like the sketch of somebody who's robbing a service station.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because, have I told you this?
No.
But basically, he was wearing all black. He had a hoodie on, which was up, and giant sunglasses.
Was this at nighttime or daytime?
This was nighttime. This is like 11:30 at night. And he marches straight up to the counter, but then he sees that we're in the store.
Yeah.
So he kind of, he slows, and then he kind of veers off to like pretend to look at sunglasses on the sunglasses.
Oh, what's some additional
wearing
sunglasses?
despite
Oh,
wearing
yeah, cool. It's
sunglasses.
pretty bright out there at night at 11:30 p.m.
And clearly
It's the Gold Coast, after all. Everything's sparkling with gold.
And clearly the guy behind the counter was onto it.
Yeah.
Because we're like pointing this guy like, this guy, like he's clearly got to rob you or whatever. And he's just waving us away. He's like, it's fine. Like he didn't care at all.
Uh-huh.
So we just waited outside. I went up to the counter next to this guy and bought what I was buying anyway because he's not going to attack me.
Every
presumably.
sunglass you have, thank you. You're like, don't worry, mate, I got you covered. He's not going to take your sunglasses. I'm going to have all these.
But I'm like, presumably this guy isn't going to attack me,
You're right.
which he didn't, which was good. But so we just waited outside to kind of see how it played out. But by then, like a small kind of crowd had gathered to this guy, just kind of see how it would play out. And it wasn't to be the hero. I'm not getting shot or stabbed for a Snickers bar at $40 or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But it was just like,
What about a Mars bar and $50?
no, I don't really like. I prefer a Snickers. But
Crunch in like $80?
that's not bad.
It's
Actually,
got rice bubbles in it.
Can it be a violet crumble, which I prefer?
Yeah, violet crumble.
Thank you.
But $50.
But in case something happens, you want to be able to help somebody in
Yep.
this particular situation. But he just ended up leaving because because you shouldn't rob things.
Yeah.
That's what he probably thought in the
Yeah.
end. Maybe he wasn't going to rob it, but he was definitely going to rob that store. So There you go.
Anyway, that's James's story about how he profiled an innocent man.
If you had have seen this guy, Mason.
It's a real good story about not
Why was he
judging a
wearing the
book by its
sunglasses?
sensitive eyes.
The thing is as well,
He'd been crying about the plight of children.
as
in
hilarious
the
as it
Sudan.
was to be like, this guy's disguise is hilariously like cliche.
Yeah.
But it works because if you were like, which of these guys was it? Well,
That's
I don't
true.
know.
Yeah.
Any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
Wild.
Yeah. Anyway, what do you?
Good to know.
That's it.
That's all right.
The story.
If you'd like to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/Mr. Sunday Movies if you'd like to chuck in a buck.
Blade's up there right now on
is it?
Caravan
Very
of
good.
Garbage.
Very nice.
And there'll be another fresh one this week.
So fresh.
So fresh and early.
You can also go to the Amazon affiliate link description. Wait, an Amazon affiliate link in the episode description.
Yep.
If you want to click through, if you want to buy some sort of Quentin Tarantino DVD box set in the
Or
shape of Quentin
vinyl.
Tarantino's head.
Wow.
Or in the shape of Uma Thurman's feet. There are the two options.
Size 10, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We would very much appreciate that, and we'd get a little kickback, or just buy anything you were going to buy on Amazon. We'll get
Yeah.
a little something from that.
We
as
will.
well.
And can.
That's
do
right.
it.
Thank you to the Brute and the Basilisk and Rackham for all our musical themes. You can
Yeah.
buy our t-shirts on tpublic.com. All sorts of Weekly Planet logo tees.
There's a new one
and
up there,
such.
isn't there?
Yes, that's
so
right.
quickly did.
Number one at Party Boy.
That's you.
Yes.
And next week we'll be doing Once Upon a Time in Holly.
very good.
More like
Okay.
Hollywood. Am I right?
Well, I'm very much excited now to see how that stacks up
Yeah.
with the rest of Quentin Tarantino's work and how Quentin Tarantino it is.
Also, his famous editor, whose name I cannot remember the name of.
She passed away?
She passed away. So these modern films she hasn't been editing. And I think you can kind of tell the difference because they're so. But that's something we didn't talk about. They're so sharply edited.
Yeah, right.
Even though there's a lot of waffle in it, there doesn't really. It's not really seconds wasted in it. You know what I mean?
No, that's true. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. We're finishing the episode, but
Yes.
just that he's a filmmaker that has never lost that edge. Like
Yeah.
your Guy Ritchie. It's like
Sally
he
Menke.
It's
is her
like he
name.
never
Sorry,
had
I
an
just looked that
edge.
up.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
Yeah, that's
These
well,
days.
he did Lock, Stock.
That's what I'm talking about. But
Yes.
that's all that signature stuff's
Yeah.
gone away. But it's weird that Tarantino's hasn't. Anyway, we're going to
No,
talk
he
about
made
the
Aladdin.
Aladdin was fun, but it wasn't. It
That's
wasn't
so edgy.
It wasn't Guy. Oh yeah, you're right. It's true.
Would you be so bold as to remake live action Aladdin?
No, I would not
There
be
you
that
go.
bold. That's true.
Exactly.
Real bad boy of Hollywood right there.
You got as much edges as a bloody rock, smooth one. No
Smooth
edges on
rock.
it.
Yeah. An edgeless smooth rock. Okay, I get it.
All right,
Wow.
thanks.
Grab that gem, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye. You bloody edgeless smooth rock, mate. That's
Come
you.
on, man. That hurts. You're like one of those teens. It cuts right to the core. I'm not an edgeless smooth rock.
This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbroadcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates.
I mean, if you want. It's up to you.